Loudest media station.
KMJ.
Sunny and 53 at Radio City. It's 2 o'clock. I'm Liz Kern in the KMJ newsroom. Fresno's Police Chief Paco Balderrama holding a press conference today responding to proposed Assembly Bill 742 to ban the use of all canine officers in apprehensions and arrests. Assemblymember Corey Jackson introduced it on Monday in Sacramento, saying it could help end a practice with a troubling history involving black communities and police dogs.
Many of these bites can create lifelong injuries before you're proven guilty.
Speaking to KMJ's Ray Appleton, Chief Balderrama says strong accountability already exists in most law enforcement agencies. He cited canine bite rates here in Fresno.
And last year, we deployed canines 6,800 times. Out of those 6,800 times, the bite ratio was 0.38%. Less than 0.5% do these canines ever bite anybody. And these are typically in situations where we can only deploy them when it's a violent felon that we're trying to apprehend. We never deploy them for nonviolent crimes or low-level offenders or anything like that.
Balderrama says banning the use of police canines in arrests or for crowd control is misguided and goes too far. A Fresno man launching his bid for Fresno mayor. State Water Manager Lauren Hubbard officially launched his campaign. The 34-year-old Democrat filing paperwork with the city last November, running against 63-year-old Mayor Jerry Dyer, the current Fresno mayor. The primary is March 5th of 2024. Hubbard, who is black, said in a news release that he's focused on improving housing and the environment. He and Dyer are the only two candidates so far who have filed. Thousands are expected to attend services for fallen Selma police officer Gonzalo Carrasco Jr., with officers coming in from all over the state. At 6 o'clock tonight, a public viewing and mass will be held at St. Joseph's Church. Then tomorrow at 10 a.m., funeral services are taking place at Selland Arena in downtown Fresno. Around noon, a motorcade will proceed to the Reedley Cemetery. The city of Fresno plans to close several streets, also Reedley, from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. to accommodate, and traffic will be affected. KMJ will provide traffic updates throughout. Actress, singer, sex symbol, and icon Raquel Welch has died. Here she is with Cher in 1975 singing I'm a Woman.
I can scoop up a great big dipper full of lard from the drippings can. Throw it in the skillet, go out and do my shopping, be back before it melts in the pan. 'Cause I'm a woman, W-O-M-A-N. I'll say it again.
Welch burst on the scene in movies like Fantastic Voyage and 1 Million Years B.C. The poster later featured in the movie The Shawshank Redemption. Welch died at the age of 82. Her rep says it was after a brief illness. She's survived by her two children, Tawny and Damon Welch. The World Ag Expo in Tulare offering more than 2 million square feet of exhibit space. As KMJ's Ag Director Don York reports, it takes a lot of people who are willing to work for free to help out.
When you walk the grounds at the World Ag Expo, you'll see, of course, hundreds of exhibitors. You'll also find people wearing orange jackets who are there to help you to find where you want to go. Jennifer Fox, marketing manager at the International Agri-Center.
Oh man, our orange jacket volunteers are amazing. My parents are two of them. They're out at Farm Credit Dairy Center, so don't worry, they are here and we need them. The
orange jacket volunteers are manning information booths that are spread out on the grounds. And there's always the Expo website to help as well.
If you go to worldagexpo.com, a lot of information is available on the attendees page. You're gonna have to scroll a little bit. There's just so much.
The World Ag Expo continues through Thursday afternoon. Don York, KMJ News.
On Wall Street, the Dow ended gaining 38 points, closing at 34,128. Right now, sunny 53 at Radio City. Fox 26's Justin Willis has our Wednesday forecast.
Freeze warning continues through tomorrow morning. Expect overnight temperatures at or below freezing in most places, upper 20s there. So cover those outdoor plants and pipes. Otherwise, plenty of sunshine this afternoon with temperatures in the low to mid 50s. We get back to our normal high of 61 tomorrow. From the Fox 26 6 Weather Center for KMJ. I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at kmjnow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Check out Duarte Nursery's World Ag Expo booth, K24, and meet local representatives for more information on the Yorizani almond, the Bennett Hickman almond, and budded pistachios.
Ever wonder why your business doesn't show up on online search maps, but your competitors do? It's hundreds of things. Things that Cumulus Boost can identify and fix. And that's how we boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
It's 2:06 at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Wednesday installment of your Afternoon Drive. Phone numbers here are 490-5858. Toll free, you can join us at 800-776-5858. On Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you'll find the show at Drive KMJ. And on YouTube, Facebook Live, or Twitch.tv, you can watch the show streaming also at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly stands by to screen your calls this afternoon. As I join you frustrated in the KMJ studios, a Bullard High School parent reached out to KMJ News with a sad, scary story about their child being assaulted on the Bullard High School campus. I've since talked with this parent, and I am now waiting for some kind of reply, meaningful reply, from the Fresno Unified School District or Bullard High School principal, Armin Tarigian. Now, I want to be clear. I have reached out to Principal Tarigian. I have reached out to newly minted Bullard area trustee Susan Whittrop. I have reached out to the Fresno Unified School District Superintendent Bob Nelson. And I've reached out to the Chief Communications Officer of the Fresno Unified School District, who apparently only answers emailed questions at her leisure. And the only response that I have received at this point in time is an email from the Chief Communications Officer of the Fresno Unified School District, who only responds to questions that are submitted via email and only in her own good time. Hi, Philip! Exclamation point. I will send you response this afternoon. You can contact the Fresno Police Department to discuss their involvement with the incident. Thanks! Exclamation point. Thanks, comma, Nikki Henry, Chief Communications Officer. First of all, I don't know why the hell we're putting friendly exclamation points into an email about a child getting beat like a rented mule on your campus. It's not a friendly inquiry. I'm not your buddy. This isn't a casual, hey, how about it? I am asking you as a taxpayer. I am asking you as a voter. I am asking you as a Fresno Unified parent. And I'm asking you as a proxy for everybody who's out there wanting to know what the hell is going on with this school district. I'm not your buddy. Answer the questions. Do so in a timely fashion, because the questions that I have asked about this, understanding that there is law in place from way higher in the food chain than the Keystone Cops operation that we call the Fresno Unified School District, that says that they cannot comment directly and specifically on possible litigation, on possible law enforcement activity, or on the private disciplinary situations of any student, victim or aggressor. So the questions that I sent them, let me read you this. And any of you are welcome to stop me at any point at 490-5858 and tell me when I have asked a question that the Chief Communications Officer for the district, the principal of a high school in the district, The trustee representing that area of the district or the superintendent of the district shouldn't know the answer to off the top of their head. Does Fresno Unified or Bullard High School have a policy for involving law enforcement when an assault is committed on campus? All of those people should know the answer to that question. We're still waiting for the chief communications officer to get around to answering. Does that policy have any exceptions for student athletes? Now, you and I all know that the answer to that question should be no, period. Does that policy have any exceptions for mutual combat? Here's an interesting area of nuance. I got into fights when I was in high school. Boys will be boys, and boys will sometimes punch each other in the nose over stupid things. That's a very different thing than what happened on the Bullard High School campus this week. Then I asked, does Fresno Unified School District or Bullard High have a policy regarding parent-guardian communication in the event of a fight or assault? Would that policy include discouraging families from disclosing the facts of a disciplinary or criminal issue involving their own child? Does Fresno Unified School District or Bullard High School have a student-athlete code of conduct? What are the possible consequences of a student assaulting another student? Are there additional potential consequences for student athletes? If a parent or a student has evidence of a crime, like for instance, cell phone shot video, should they share it with the campus administration, the district administration, law enforcement, or some other entity? And finally, my last question, in my first email, will a Bullard student be disciplined for capturing video or photos of a crime if they are found to have violated the Bullard High School Yonder Pouch cell phone policy in order to do so? The principal of the school, the trustee for that part of the district, the superintendent of the school district, and the chief communications officer, in my opinion, should know the answers to every single one of those questions off the top of their head. Maybe the question about exceptions for mutual combat might require a little in-depth thought and explanation. Now let me tell you what I saw, because this was not mutual combat. This was not two kids punching each other in the nose. A student who is, as I understand it, as it has been told to me, a female member of the Bullard High School wrestling squad approached another female student who is a member of the cheerleading squad, started a physical altercation despite the cheerleader saying that she did not know the boy who was the subject of the argument, and concluded with a wrestler kicking a child in the head as they lay in the fetal position trying to protect their face. This altercation takes place immediately adjacent to one of those campus security monitor golf carts. Where is the campus security monitor? I don't know. They should have heard the sound of a cheerleader getting slammed into the back of their cart. But instead, this child got beaten. She didn't get into a fight. She was assaulted by a much larger student. She attempted only to defend herself in that she tried to protect her head and face. The response when the parent wanted to press charges was foot dragging. When the parent went to social media to ask what could possibly be done about this, then the response, as it has been told to me, is that they were approached by a member of the campus administration and asked to remove their post from social media because it made the school look bad. The parent of the victim is frustrated because they are now being told that it is unlikely that this child who violently assaulted another child will be subject to any discipline greater than a suspension. When I followed up on my first email, I sent them a link to the video of this assault that is now circulating on social media. I'm not going to share it for a variety of reasons, but I have watched the video repeatedly. I have scrutinized the video. My comment to the chief communications officer of the district, the superintendent, Bob Nelson, the trustee for the Bullard area, Susan Wittrup, and the principal at Bullard High School, Armin Tarigian. This seems like a situation that would have involved law enforcement. Can I have the contact information for your campus resource officer at Bullard? And the answer that I got from the chief communications officer, I'll send you a response this afternoon. You can contact Fresno Police Department to discuss the involvement, their involvement with the incident. Thanks. This is what's happening in Fresno Unified right now. I've got a story here from our news partner, Fox 26. Kim Stevens. You guys know Kim. Sweet lady. Hosts Great Day. Good reporter. Parents and teachers beg for help from out-of-control students. Kim starts the story saying an impassioned Fresno Unified School Board meeting took place in December with parents and teachers begging for help at Wawona Middle School. What are the odds that a middle school that feeds Bullard High School would be having a problem with undisciplined, disruptive, and violent students? I wonder what's happening. So we'll take a look at Kim Stevens' story. And we'll wait for Nikki Henry to get back with more exclamation points about, a teenage girl getting kicked in the head. This school district is failing your kids. These trustees are a bunch of cowards. The superintendent won't talk to anybody unless it's to get a back rub. And you've got kids getting assaulted on campus. It's inexcusable.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. You need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blind shades and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends February 23rd. Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Selena Janae, Events Manager for the Fresno Chamber of Commerce. Please join me in celebrating the 2023 Valley Business Awards presented by Central Valley Community Bank on Wednesday, February 22nd at the historic Warner's Theater. We are thrilled to honor Sally Caglia as the 2023 Leon S. Peters Award recipient. Also being recognized, Jeffrey Scott Agency, Fresno Street Eats, Clark Bros Inc., and Lavrall LLC. Tickets are on sale now at FresnoChamber.com. That's FresnoChamber.com.
Chris Daniel for Breadcrumb Cybersecurity. Ransomware, wire fraud, breaches. You're talking about it for your business already. How could you not be? These are nation-based bad actors, criminal cartels, the same ones who target government and Fortune 500 companies are targeting you. It's time for the next step in protecting your company. It's time to call Breadcrumb. Trusted by law enforcement and nationally recognized, the team at Breadcrumb delivers results, period. Go now to breadcrumbcyber.com because evidence is everywhere.
I'll second guest dinners with friends because they can be interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
Every small business owner knows business happens everywhere. The office, the warehouse, or on the road. And no matter where it takes you, there's one solution to help your business thrive. Comcast Business Complete Connectivity. It's the largest, fastest, reliable network with advanced gig speed Wi-Fi and cyber threat protection in one solution. Get started for just $49.99 a month. Plus, add Comcast Business Mobile and you can save up to 60% a year on your wireless bill. And ask how to get up to a $750 prepaid card.
Flight 291 is now boarding.
Yep, you're going places. And when you get there, be ready to do business. The complete connectivity solution from the company that powers more small businesses than any other provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/21/2023. Restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New 50 megabits per second internet and Comcast Business Security Edge customers only. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Gig internet required for gig Wi-Fi. Mobile Savings compares pricing of top 3 carriers.
Hello, it's Ben from Clovis Mattress, and I wanted to take a moment to say a big thank you to all of our customers who booked appointments with us after hearing us on KMJ. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you and welcoming you to the Clovis Mattress family. Your feedback about our service and our mattresses has been amazing to hear. For those of you that haven't yet had a chance to book an appointment, we've got a special deal for you. For a limited time, we're offering to pay the sales tax on any purchase you make at Clovis Mattress, including our new introductory line, with twins starting at $169, queens starting at $259, and kings starting at $289. So don't wait. Either visit clovismattress.com or give us a call at 559-500-2222. That's 559-500-2222 to book a personal appointment with one of our sleep specialists. Because remember, at Clovis Mattress, we're not just selling you a locally made mattress, we're selling you a great night's sleep. Buy local, support local at Clovis Mattress.
.223 at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Good afternoon. I'm Philip Teresi. Phones are open for your calls at 490-5858. Toll free, you can join me at 800-776-5858. If you're new to town, or if you're just passing through, maybe you're a trucker out on the open road, maybe you found us on accident, kmjnow.com, something like that. Or maybe you're looking for a new place to settle. You want a good cost of living, access to the Sierra, to Yosemite, to the coast, and you thought, Fresno would be a good place to go. Man, most of the time it really is. It's kind of a neat city. We got our problems. We're working our way through it. But it is the shame of the region that we have a school district that allegedly serves 70,000 children, that has over 11,000 employees, and has nobody who's capable of answering questions about the most basic elements of district or campus policy, and whose reaction to a violent assault against a minor child on campus is not to immediately hold the criminal offender responsible, but to request silence so as to avoid tarnishing the image of the school. Because, of course, the most important thing when a teenage girl gets kicked in the head repeatedly is to make sure that nobody thinks that it was the school's fault. Now, I told you Kim Stevens from our news partner Fox 26 is doing her own report on Wawona Middle School. This is right up the street from Bullard. As far as I know, it's a feeder school to Bullard. At last week's board meeting, parents and teachers came to beg for help because here in the world's fourth largest economy, in the third largest school district inside of the world's fourth largest economy, our board of trustees requires begging. They don't do their job because it's what they're paid to do. They don't do their job because it's what they're elected to do. They do their job if only it appeases their ego and their future political ambition. And so the parents and the teachers of Wawona Middle School describe the school as being on fire. And they talk about violence, profanity, misbehavior, and a total lack of consequences. President of the Fresno Teachers Association, Manuel Bonilla, says this is because the system is broken. Bonilla told Kim Stevens and Fox 26, quote, "Some teachers are so afraid of speaking out that they wouldn't come here tonight. They sit in their car and they cry before or after school, just thinking about the things they're about to face in regard to a culture of fear and retaliation." What an interesting thing to just pause this story for a moment. What an interesting and saddening thing to hear the president of the Fresno Teachers Association, a union man, utter the phrase culture of fear and retaliation. Because you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like the former trustee for the Bullard area, a guy named Terry Sladek you've heard from once or twice. He has a turn of phrase that he uses, a culture of retribution. Now, I don't know what Terry Sladek's feelings are on unions specifically. I know that Terry's kind of a conservative guy, but I don't think he's a party line guy. I think he's just a genuine, independent, free-thinking conservative. He's also a retired major in the United States Marine Corps. So possibly, maybe a little bit of a joiner. I don't think so, though. Nevertheless, I've talked to both of these guys, Terry more than Manuel Bonilla, but I've talked to both of these guys. I think that you should hold that in your mind, that two guys that give off a different vibe are using virtually identical language to describe one of the biggest problems in the Fresno Unified School District. And despite this culture of fear and retaliation, this culture of retribution, there are parents and teachers who are speaking out on this, who showed up to this board meeting to beg the Board of Trustees to do something. And what they say is that students are suffering because the learning environment is being disrupted daily. One teacher says, quote, "We had a student threaten to bring a gun and shoot up the school twice. He was back on campus the next day." Another teacher says, "I've been caught in food fight mobs. Cops have been called in to break up these groups of kids just going wild. Teachers deserve to teach, and students deserve to learn and feel safe." A third teacher speaks up, saying, "Personally, I have been threatened by students. The very next day, that same student is back in class threatening to knock me out." A fourth teacher, who also works as a librarian, describes a day during the book fair when 30 kids rushed the line screaming obscenities. She had one girl that she stopped, hoping to just get her to calm down. This teacher and librarian says it didn't calm her down. Quote, she was looking through me. I could not get her attention. I am not trained to de-escalate fights. And a fifth teacher, crying in front of the Board of Trustees, says, essentially, our school is on fire. Quote, I remember when I was a kid, I always felt safe going to school, and I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe as a teacher, and I don't think my kids feel safe, and I want them to have more. We'll continue with Kim's story from Wawona as we wait for the Chief Communications Officer of the Fresno Unified School District to answer a series of questions that any idiot working in the school district should have been able to answer off the top of their head about a child getting kicked in the skull on school campus. But right now, we'll take a break for an update of headlines with Liz Kern in the KMJ Newsroom.
KMJ News now.
The Secretary of Transportation facing calls to look into a train derailment that continues to impact parts of Ohio. Here's Marianne Rafferty.
Toxic fumes still spewing into the air, and this is after the train derailment and explosion, which happened about 2 weeks ago. 10 derailed cars contained hazardous materials, including dangerous and potentially cancer-causing vinyl chloride. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg spoke at a conference Monday, making no mention of the accident. Critics say Buttigieg should be doing more for East Palestine residents who report worrying symptoms like coughing and burning eyes, not to mention reports of animals and fish dying. Representative Ilhan Omar pleading for an investigation. She tweeted, "We need congressional inquiry and direct action from Pete Buttigieg to address this tragedy."
In remarks to union workers in Maryland today, President Biden once again taking a shot at Florida Republican Senator Rick Scott for his plan to have Congress revisit federal entitlements every 5 years to see if they should be reauthorized in an effort to, what the president says, sunset Social Security and Medicare.
Anyone tries to get rid of Social Security or Medicare, I will veto it. That's the Republican dream. I'm their nightmare.
President Biden made the same remarks in his State of the Union address to a strong real-time reaction from Republicans who say they have no intention of pulling the plug on Social Security and Medicare. Today, the Kansas City Chiefs holding their championship parade. That's the sound of hundreds of thousands of people who are gathered for the festivities, starting in downtown Kansas City before ending at the National World War II Museum and Memorial. The Chiefs defeated the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 57 on Sunday for their third Super Bowl win in franchise history and their second in 4 years. On Wall Street, the Dow ended gaining 38 points, closing at 34,128. 2:33 right now at KMJ, sunny, 53 currently at Radio City. Here's Fox 26's Justin Willis with our Wednesday forecast.
Plenty of sunshine this afternoon with temperatures in the low to mid 50s. We get back to our normal high of 61 tomorrow. Freeze warning continues through tomorrow morning, so expect overnight temperatures to be at or below freezing in most places, likely upper 20s. So cover those outdoor plants and pipes. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
And your pets, too. Don't forget them. With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. You need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blind shades and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends February 23rd. Blindster.com.
For more than 35 years, Andros Engineering has been providing farmers with the most advanced equipment to install, extract, and retrieve drip irrigation. But did you know that Andros has also been a resource for farmers to develop specialized equipment, mechanizing difficult and labor-intensive field practices? Or that the Andros Recycling Program has revolutionized how drip tape is retrieved and recycled? helping farmers be more efficient and better manage drip tape materials. Take a look at Andros to see how our equipment, engineering, and programs can be a resource for your farm. Contact Miguel or Brian to learn more about the Andros drip irrigation equipment, recycling program, or research and development services at 805-227-2801 or visit andros-eng.com. Andros Engineering. Install, retrieve, reuse, and recycle more efficiently.
John hated getting out of bed, always wary of what new disaster the day would bring. Labor issues or Sigma regulations? The latest pest invasion? Stink bugs? And politicians? New day, new farming fiascos. I gotta tell you, John's happier now, and he sleeps a lot better. I'm Dan Hoekstra with Hoekstra & Associates. We were able to find buyers for his farmland and then help him turn the proceeds into a stable income stream that consistently pays him 3 times more than what his farm earned on its best year. And the best part? He never has to worry what new disasters the day will bring. The passive income shows up in his bank account while he and his wife tour the world on a much-needed and never-ending vacation. Maybe you're like John, ready to trade in your work boots for traveling shoes. We can sell your farmland and find you stable investment properties that'll bring you a steady income with no farming fiascos. Let's talk it over. Your kitchen table or mine? Go to HOEKSTRA.land, Hoekstra.land.
This report is sponsored by Roto-Rooter. Roto-Rooter should be your first call for any plumbing or water cleanup needs. Put their 85 years of experience to work for you. Roto-Rooter is available 24/7. Call your local Roto-Rooter for a free estimate at 1-800-GET-ROTO or online at rotorooterca.com.
Cultivated Technology Group takes a user-first approach to technology, building true solutions through custom software and websites. Check out Cultivated at cultivatedtg.com.
Commercial Radiator, your full-service repair shop for large industrial radiators, ag equipment, or to keep your fleet on the road. That's Commercial Radiator.
This is KMJ Ag Director Don York inviting you to join me for this year's World Ag Expo, February 14th through the 16th. The World Ag Expo this year is live with seminars, demonstrations, and more. To visit the show, just go to worldagexpo.com. The KMJ Ag Reports are brought to you by Fresno Equipment, your John Deere dealer. Visit them at fresnoequipment.com. Andros, see the most innovative irrigation equipment at booth N46 and Barnes Welding Supply, serving California since 1949.
Teresi. Streaming live on Alexa, Google Home, and everything else. Philip Teresi on KMJ.
It's 2:40 on your afternoon drive. This is News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. The phones are open for you at 490-5858. Toll free, you can join me at 800-776-5858. In just a minute, we're going to talk with a Fresno Unified parent who's going to share what she's seeing as we talk about both coverage of heartbroken parents and teachers pleading with the school board to fix a culture of fear and violence and disruption on the campus at Wawona Middle School. This happening, this trustees meeting happening just ahead of a violent assault on the Bullard High School campus, where a female wrestler attacked another student, a student who did not fight back, who did nothing but attempt to defend her head and face, while a student athlete kicked her in the skull. And the response from the school district so far seems to be to beg the parents not to talk about what has happened and to avoid meting out consequences for somebody who behaved in a way that were you or I to behave in that same way would have inevitably resulted in criminal charges. 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. Pleading with the school board, parents were told eventually by way of Fox 26 because the school board doesn't talk to the people who elected them. The chief communications officer who likes to put exclamation points in emails about children getting kicked in the face told Fox 26 News, the district says school leadership development, and DPI, Department of Prevention and Intervention, have partnered to provide additional resources to support the site. This will include PL, which is professional learning and classroom management, routines, structures, and building relationships with students, and additional staff will be on site to support. Discipline the children who are being violent and disruptive. You cannot manage a classroom if you don't have any authority. You cannot require compliance if there's no stick to go with the carrot that has apparently replaced the brains of the administration of the Fresno Unified School District. Let's be militantly positive. I really, honest to God, I wonder if Bob Nelson, a man who is paid nearly as much as the President of the United States, who is the face of a district failing abysmally in every way that a district is supposed to serve society. I wonder if he can keep smiling while he watches the video that I had to watch this morning. 490-5858. Beth, welcome to KMJ. Are you a Fresno Unified parent?
Yeah, I'm a parent, and then I also have taught for the district. I just haven't taught since the pandemic, but I actually taught. This restorative justice started down in the area, the southeast area where I taught over by Sunnyside High. I was an elementary school teacher, and I've warned of this for years. I started bringing restorative justice down in that area, but while over in the Boulder High area where I live right by Wawona Middle School. They had totally different types of punishment and whatnot, even for teachers. Because like when I worked in Southeast Fresno, the janitors would wear Raider jerseys, and that's like against dress code. But over in like the Faulkner area where I used to teach, I got written up for having a skull and crossbone like on this like keychain I had. Anyway, so it's just like. And
when you say skull and crossbones, you mean like Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
Yeah, it was like a Disney thing that I got because I used to work for Disney a long time. Anyway, so my point being is like a long time ago when I saw the difference of how they were punishing kids, I was like, this is going to be a problem. And then when they started allowing all of the like walkouts in class, which that's also against policy. You're not supposed to allow kids to be political. Also, teachers can't be political on their time. When I started seeing all those things where they weren't even following like basic policy of like dress code and, hey, you can't just get up and walk out of class, I'm like, this is going to be, we're going to start seeing issues with behavior. If we're allowing the kids to be like the parents that are out rioting, because this was like 2015, 2016, when they started having all that like Trayvon Martin and all that, and they started allowing the kids to walk out for gun control and all that, I was like, we're going to get a lot of like discipline problems because kids are seeing that out in the greater community with adults, there's no boundaries and people can break the laws and cause problems. And we're going to have it here in the schools.
Yeah, Beth, I do follow you. And I agree that an unsanctioned, just a constantly unsanctioned rollover of student attendance and participation, it undermines discipline. It undermines authority. I think that the schools sanctioning some of this stuff could be okay if when, for example, one child kicks another child in the face repeatedly, that child is expelled. Because
they don't allow that anymore. They don't want you expelling the kids and here's what I got told when I worked in Southeast Fresno, and I used to get kids because I was like the stickler teacher that was like, hey, like Rudy Giuliani, you let the minor thing go, you're going to have issues. Well, it's true. You let one thing go, and it's usually the kid breaking dress code, and unfortunately is usually the one that's trying to get attention too. I mean, like really breaking dress code, like big, huge mohawk, not just spaghetti straps. And so those are the kids. That's why you have dress code, to limit distraction, right? So anyways, I used to get told by the principal, because I send the kids to the office a lot, well, and this was during Obama, Obama changed that with the Department of Education, and they want kids they don't want kids out of the classroom, because when you send them to the principal, they're out of the classroom and they're missing learning. which is true. And then they fall behind in school, and then those are the kids that drop out. And then before you know it, Mrs. So-and-so, because I don't want to give my last name, they're going to be robbing you, and they're going to be robbing me, and they'll be robbing our kids. That was their excuse for allowing like things like dress code and minor bullying. Like I don't even call it minor bullying, but I guess in that area compared to what you would have, it's minor. But so anyways, that it's about getting the kids back in the classroom and not having them lose the class time.
Yeah,
that's what that's all about. So, and then, I just to talk about how bad it's getting over, my son goes to Wawona, and there's fights all the time. They just cancel the dance because there's issues over there with fighting. And my son tells there's been kids that full-on assault the teachers there. So anyways, it's really bad. And that's Wawona. That's a pretty decent, and it's a small middle school too. It's the smallest like population in all of Fresno Unified's middle schools. So much that they have an elementary school now on that campus that's bilingual. So, and then you also too you have a lot of this racial stuff now coming into the schools too, which I know is a big issue. My son tells me where kids are getting into fights and stuff at Wawona because a kid will have like a bag of chips, and then like a kid that looks white, it doesn't even have to be white because like this happened to my son and we're Hispanic, but and then my son doesn't want to give him chips. And so then my son gets called a racist all day long, or not all day long, but during the class. And then after, as my son's walking to his next class, having kids, you're racist, and give me chips, stuff like that. So then you have that component too, which my son's in jiu-jitsu, so he knows to control, like you don't want to just hit somebody, but there's other kids that have anger issues and problems at home, and they get called that, and they just turn around and clock a kid, or so that kind of stuff. There's not a lot of and then I don't know what they're doing in the schools, because they're like teaching this like difference, and they're allowing the
and Beth, I agree with you. As you when you start to bring in all of the cultural warfare, when you start to make it reasonable for one student to use these massive social problems as a cudgel to browbeat another child for not sharing their Takis, you've lost control of the situation. And what's being repeatedly demonstrated by Fresno Unified is that they didn't lose it, they surrendered it. They gave up, and they're continuing to give up. And the reaction now is not about promoting safety on campus. It's not about promoting respect. It's about preserving appearances. It's horrifying. Beth, I'm glad you called. I appreciate you checking, and I'm sorry your kid's having a hard time. One thing on the kids wanting to get into his Doritos or his Takis, since nobody's doing anything about discipline anymore, maybe buy him a couple of those one-chip challenge chips from Packy, and just break one up in the Takis bag and hand that over. That'll be the last time anybody ever asks him for a chip. And hopefully they don't have a capsaicin allergy, because you might accidentally kill somebody, which wouldn't be good. On second thought, don't do that.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends February 23rd. Blindster.com.
In potted almond trees. The new almond variety, Yorizani the Gold Nut, is a recently released self-fertile almond by the USDA. Yorizani has been field tested statewide and is a top performer in the regional almond variety trials. Yorizani is a standout performer in both quality and production. Yorizani almond trees are available from Duarte Nursery for your plantings now. Duarte Nursery has all of the best root stocks, including Bright's Hybrid 5 and Krimsk 86, available. Learn about Duarte Nursery's new and improved pistachio program. Duarte Nursery pistachios are bigger with the new Moon Unit budded trees. Crop years ahead. Save pre-productive time and several acre-feet of water by planting Moon Units. The new Vigor Clone rootstocks establish faster, come into production faster, and plateau at higher production levels than standard pistachio rootstocks. Duarte Nursery has several budded pistachio tree formats available, including the Moon Units for 2022 and 2023 spring planting. Talk to your Duarte Nursery field rep today.
I am a very happy camper because I get to tell you about the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. Yeah, exactly the same place I was talking to you about 15, 20 years ago. Do you know this local company is 42 years old? 42 years dabbling with trucks. I think they know what they're doing. And right now, I need to address you people that have companies and you people who are farmers with fleet vehicles. This is an area where the Noble Brothers have really carved out their expertise. Whether it's cabinets, truck racks, ladder racks, toolboxes, van interiors, van shelving, and a lot of it. Remember, I use the F word, fleet. If you have fleet needs, you need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. Two of them, one out in Sunnyside, the other one on Blackstone near Sierra. I got to know them when they turned a Jeep Wrangler of mine into a masterpiece, and I just got another Jeep. And they're doing it all over again. I can't wait for the finished product. Click nobletruck.com. Noble, N-O-B-I-L-E. If it's a pickup, a van, a Jeep, oh, even a fifth wheel, you totally need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center since 1980.
Hi, I'm Joe Holstein, president of SunPower by Quality Home Services, with an urgent message. The local utilities are changing the solar rates and credits, and it's not in your favor. It's estimated that with this new plan, known as NEM 3, new solar customers will lose as much as 75% of the savings that solar provides. That's the bad news. The good news is there's still time to get signed up on the current plan, but you only have until April 15th. So if you've ever thought about going solar or thought about adding on to your current system, now is the time. Call today before it's too late. Solar never has been and never will be as affordable as it is right now. So act today. Visit our website at sunpowerbyqhs.com. That's sunpowerbyqhs.com. Please don't miss out and don't delay. Act today before it's too late.
Don't miss out on the savings. Go to sunpowerbyqhs.com. That's sunpowerbyqhs.com. CSLB 716208.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
KMJ, radio, streaming, social, smart speakers, on demand, online, anytime. You're always connected with KMJ.
Rolling up on 3 o'clock on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Phones are open for your calls at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. We've got a teacher. I don't know if he's Fresno Unified or elsewhere. But his name's James, and he's got some information on us on a disciplinary committee that has since been disbanded. This is going to fit right in with what we've been talking about. Wawona middle school parents showing up and begging the trustees to do something, which is met with, oh, well, we'll teach teachers how to take more onto their plates. Meanwhile, a violent assault at Bullard High School is greeted with demands of silence and promises that nothing significant will be done about it. We continue to await some kind of coherent response from the Fresno Unified School District, from the principal, the trustee for the area, the superintendent, or the chief communications officer, who responded to an email about a child getting kicked in the face with extra exclamation points because we're being peppy today. All that is on the way. And James, I want to talk to you. Don't move. We're going to get to him in just a minute. Right now, Christopher Gabriel is out at the World Ag Expo. He's been talking to interesting folks all day about what they're doing at the International Agri Center down there in Tulare County.
We are in the Ag Center booth at the World Ag Expo. Christopher Gabriel from News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. I am with Mike Alamari from Pacific Farm Management, the president of Pacific Farm Management. Good to see you, my man.
Hey, how we doing?
We are doing well. For those who aren't familiar with your company, tell us about Pacific Farm Management.
Yeah, Pacific Farm Management, we're based out of Madera, but we work from the desert all the way up to Oregon. We provide labor and personnel management to farms and ag-related industries, so packing sheds, irrigation companies, aside from the traditional farms and ranches. We cover row crops as well as tree crops and vineyards, so we cover a wide array of different crops that we provide labor for.
Mike, one of the things that I've been asking folks that we've had the pleasure of talking to is how an event like the World Ag Expo affects your company and what you hope to get out of this. So what are you looking to get out of the World Ag Expo?
Yeah, just better exposure and networking. I mean, dealing with labor, especially in California, has its challenges. Most people want to operate a business, don't like the burdensome of dealing with labor, HR, payroll, and stuff like that. That's where our company comes in and provides a solution for them. So we kind of eliminate that headache, get it off their table so they can focus their time and resources on running their business while we do the labor side of it.
Recently on my weekend show, I had Mike Sherinian, owner of the Elbow Room, on, and we were talking about the possibility of taxing tips and how that's going to affect the labor force in the restaurant industry. There are overtime laws in effect now that affect the farm industry. Explain that to us, and what effect have you seen relative to your company?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a world of changes in the ag employment landscape. Just 5-6 years ago, employees were able to work 10 hours a day, 60 hours a week. Now, as of 2022 and now 2023 as well, they're treated like every other industry where after 8 hours and 40 hours, they earn overtime. So what does that do for us? It makes us operate extremely efficient. We want to ensure that our clients are happy with the service we're providing them and that they're able to conduct the labor in probably a shorter amount of time period, or not to pay overtime, because obviously it's real costly to pay overtime. I mean, there's some crops where 30% of the final cost is labor, and then you have some crops like stone fruit where about 80% of the final cost for the farmer is labor. So obviously if you have to pay 50% more in overtime wages, that's going to affect your bottom line. And that's where we come in, try to strategize, find a solution for them to ensure they get through the season with enough labor at a decent price.
You explained that much better than I could have ever figured that out. Last thing for you, having a chance to talk to a lot of business owners in the Central Valley, we've talked about the post-COVID world. We're still dealing with COVID, but not as bad as 2020. Now that things are back to normal, or whatever this new normal is, Mike, and you see people here and nobody's got masks on, how has all of that affected your business?
It's made us become more on top of it, especially with our safety team. We have a full COVID program for the employees. If they get sick, we're always up to date on the new laws that are affecting them from every which way. It's actually gave us an uptick in business because it added another layer to people's employment, applications, or the way they have to operate with their employees. So again, that took time away from them from operating their business, and it created someone like us to be specialized in it to take that burden off their hands. So we've seen an uptick in business just to handle that aspect of it.
Mike, I appreciate your time today.
No problem. Thank you.
Mike is the president of Pacific Farm Management, and my conversation with Mike, sponsored by Kane Trucking, FarmCom Real Estate, Anthony's Land Leveling, Cultivated Technology Group, and Custom Ag Formulators. For News Talk 580, 105.9, I'm Christopher Gabriel at the World Ag Expo.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp data bank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Chris Daniel for Breadcrumb Cybersecurity. Has your organization fallen victim to cyber attack? Are you dealing with suspicious employee activity? Do what other organizations have already done and call Breadcrumb Cybersecurity. From complex cybercrime to data breach and fraud, the experts at Breadcrumb deliver results, period. Call them today, 559-578-4800, 578-4800, or go online to breadcrumbcyber.com, because evidence is everywhere.
Here's the unfiltered truth about water softeners. Softeners add sodium without filtering water. Softeners are old-fashioned, costly, and maintenance-heavy. There's a better solution, a LifeSource salt-free water system. LifeSource systems provide filtered, delicious water from every tap without filters or any maintenance. LifeSource salt-free systems are perfect for areas banning softeners, and that's the unfiltered truth. Call 559-330-1850 for a free consultation, or visit lifesourcewater.com. LifeSource, taste and feel the difference.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 3 o'clock in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. Fresno City officials announcing street closures for the memorial service of fallen Selma police officer and young expectant father Gonzalo Carrasco. The closures for the service tomorrow include streets near downtown. Carrasco shot and killed in the line of duty in Selma last month. Proposed Assembly Bill 742 seeks to ban the use of all canine officers in apprehensions and arrests. KMJ's Liz Kern has reactions to the bill from Fresno's police chief, who held a press conference today.
Assembly Bill 742 was introduced on Monday. Assemblymember Corey Jackson in Sacramento said it could help end a practice with a troubling history involving black communities and police dogs.
Many of these bites can create lifelong injuries before you're proven guilty.
Speaking to KMJ's Ray Appleton, Fresno Police Chief Paco Balderrama says strong accountability already exists in most law enforcement agencies, citing canine bite rates here in Fresno.
And last year, we deployed canines 6,800 times. Out of those 6,800 times, the bite ratio was 0.38%. Less than 0.5% do these canines ever bite anybody. And these are typically in situations where we can only deploy them when it's a violent felon that we're trying to apprehend. We never deploy them for nonviolent crimes or low-level offenders or anything like that.
The chief says he doesn't like to comment on pending legislation, but he said banning the use of police canines in arrests and for crowd control is misguided and goes too far. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Fresno County health officials launching a mobile health program for farmers this week. Agricultural workers living in rural areas of Fresno County were given free medical service Tuesday. Officials say the services are meant for farmers who can't speak English or don't have the time or transportation to get to a doctor. The FAA in front of the Senate after a nationwide ground stop in January, as well as some other near misses that could have ended in disaster. Fox's Connell McShane reports.
Billy Nolan is the acting administrator now at the FAA, and they really pressed him on what is known as the Notice to Air Missions alert system that pilots have to read before they take off. But it's an old system, and Nolan says the needed updates to it will not happen overnight. Now, the nationwide ground stop in early January, that's been blamed on an outside contractor. In addition to that, the outage and the ground stop, there have been these high-profile near misses on runways around the country, including when that FedEx cargo plane nearly landed right on top of a Southwest passenger jet in Austin, Texas. There was actually a video simulation of that event shown at the hearing today, and Nolan then talked about how there was low visibility in Austin that day, but he said the system actually worked in that disaster was averted.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
Freeze warning continues through tomorrow morning. Expect overnight temperatures at or below freezing in most places, upper 20s there. So cover those outdoor plants and pipes. Otherwise, plenty of sunshine this afternoon with temperatures in the low to mid 50s. We get back to our normal high of 61 tomorrow. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Joe Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking our first look at traffic on this Wednesday afternoon near Porterville, Road 216, Avenue 152. There's been a collision, no injuries involved there. Highway 41 at Lucky Lane, that's the road up to Chickchansee. There has been a collision and injuries involved there. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCarran.
It's Allbritton's complete furnace revitalization.
Makes your heater blow like it's young again for just $129.
Online at allbritain.com.
When your business information is missing or inconsistent across the internet, search engines won't find you, and customers won't either. Help ensure customers see you and not your competitors. Boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Live, local, and on it. It's Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
Listen, I've been listening to you for quite a while, and your logic is sound. Your reasoning is sound that is for someone who loves this country, wants to see it secure, wants to see it safe, and wants to see it prosper. And I just want to thank you for all you do in that regard.
3:05 on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. My name's Philip Teresi. Phones are open for your calls at 490-5858. And toll free, you can join me at 800-776-5858. You can also check us out on social media and streaming video at Drive KMJ. Talking about an assault on the Bullard High School campus, a cheerleader beaten by a wrestler. Both students are female. The response from the school seems to be a concern that we not be too harsh on the child, kicking another child in the face and in the skull repeatedly on a school campus during school hours, immediately next to one of those golf carts that should have had a campus monitor on it, but somehow was mysteriously empty while this violent attack took place. This is unacceptable. First of all, the assault's unacceptable. And look, I get it. Kids do fight. That does happen. I know. I was a high school kid once. I got into a couple of fist fights. Our fist fights were teenage boys punching each other in the nose. Once in a while, you get a cat fight. This kicking people in the skull stuff, that wasn't the way that we did it. That's real violence. And the reaction seems to be, shh, 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 shh. If we don't talk about it, it'll go away. Got James on the phone at 490-5858, maybe with a little insight on this. James, welcome to KMJ. Good afternoon.
Thanks for taking my call. Yeah, see, I know that you have some comments from Manuel Bonilla, but I'm going to tell you, I do not think that the union or FTA specifically should have a pass on this, because in my opinion, knowing firsthand how they operate, this is on their hands as well. And I give you, for instance, back in spring of 2015, all the way through about December of 2015, there was a district partnership with FTA where they had a safety and discipline committee that involved teaching assistants, teachers, campus assistants, union members, district officials. All of these items that we're talking about right now were addressed. In fact, at that time, there was a district-wide survey that went out that specifically asked about egregious offenses such as what happened at Bullard and which has happened at every campus in Fresno Unified, which is really disturbing. But it addressed all these different areas of concern, and the narrative was unbelievable. In fact, Bill McEwen, when he worked for the Fresno Bee, he posted the results of that survey. So this has been going on for a long time. And the reason I say that the union is partly responsible is because they do not agree in any way, shape, or form, because I've had a firsthand conversation with the current FTA president about creating an alternative campus for our most egregious offenders. And this campus would be similar to what they already have in Clovis Unified and what they have in Central Unified and around the state, because the needs of these kids are many. And this campus, it's not just punitive. It's also some things where they're going to get the counseling they need. Their parents are going to get the counseling they need. And the idea is to get these kids help and get them back on a mainstream campus. But it's alarming that, here we are 8 years later down the road and the same issues are occurring. And not only occurring, but they're much worse than they were back in 2015.
James, that's a lot to digest, and it bothers me a lot that this conversation it isn't a week old, it isn't a school year old, it's a decade old. From your perspective, having had a front row seat to all of this, is the issue the will of the Board of Trustees? Is the issue the superintendent's office? Is it a campus-to-campus problem that results in a lack of will? Where do we go? What's ground zero here?
Well, I think it starts at the top. It starts at the district, and it's definitely on the hands of the trustees as well, because when they've been around this whole time and they turn a blind eye to what's going on, they're at fault just as much as district officials. The principals at your school sites are going to follow the direction of the downtown administration. But I'll give you, for instance, what happens is when you have a kid who has a violent offense or has up for an expulsion, and that suspension or that expulsion is then suspended, they'll leave school A and they just transfer that kid to school B. And then it's just a shell game of these problems going from school to school to school without that kid ever getting the help they need. And what happens when you pass that kid, now you're starting over, the kid's starting over, the administration doesn't know anything about this kid, and it just goes on and on and on. And so until we really address the policies and the procedures of this district that when it comes to school safety and discipline are highly ineffective, we are never going to get past this. I mean, I'll give you Clovis Unified, for example. They have at Gateway, they have 3% of their population, of the district as a whole, 3% of their population can be housed at Gateway. So you're talking, about 1,300 kids that they can hold there. That's a significant amount. Fresno Unified has a very small campus, which is called Phoenix, and it's for either elementary or the high school level. They have up to 250, 280 seats, but it's like a triage center. So the kid goes there for a couple of weeks, he cycles back out and goes back to the mainstream campus. So we have our heads in the sand and pretending like it's not as bad as it is. And it's really affecting the city as a whole when you look at what's going on, especially if you look at Brookings Institute, which talked about disengaged youth. Well, part of the reason they're disengaged is because they're not getting educated. And so when you look at what's going on, I mean, this one radio program, Philip, is not going to solve this. But I can tell you right now, the union has to partner with the district and create an alternative campus to help these kids, because they're a product of their environment and they need to get some tools so they can become a positive member of society. We don't want to have these kids thrown away. Anybody that says that is wrong. But the real issue is you cannot keep doing what you're doing because it's not working. Another thing that happens, and this is really alarming, is we're not only absorbing our kids that have issues, but we have kids transferring in from outside districts, because if a kid doesn't want to go to Gateway, for example, and they're up for an expulsion. They suspend that expulsion. They transfer to Gateway. What they do in Fresno Unified is they use a fake address. They come into a Fresno Unified school, and they just say that, well, we just moved over here, and we're absorbing their problem. So we're not even looking and seeing that this kid was on a suspended expulsion, why they're no longer at Gateway. So we have our problems and outside district problems. So that's a major concern.
So James, I've mentioned this before. I am a Gateway alumni. That was where I kind of graduated high school. Gateway in the 90s, I think, was a slightly rougher place than it is today, but not much. I mean, kids with behavioral problems are kids with behavioral problems. I was not going to follow the rules. I was never going to acquiesce to the regular school routine. Gateway was where I belonged, and actually probably I should have just been thrown out, period, just expelled. Good luck in life, son. Hope you get a GED someday. Enjoy jail food. I got to ask you, based on my experience in exactly that environment, how much of this does come back to the parents? How much of this comes back to the home life of those students? Because there were kids at Gateway that were incorrigibles, and there were kids at Gateway that were in the foster system. They were abuse survivors. I mean, that's a mixed bag, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a mixed bag, but I also think a lot of these behavioral problems that you see on campus is because of the ineffective policies that we have in place that allow kids to cuss out adults, who allow kids to get caught with drugs on campus and they're back 2 days later. I mean, so when you have a program that or a procedure at a school that should be disciplining and handling that in a more meaningful manner, it's just kind of like, oh, let's just take care of it and let it move on. Can't be that way. And it has to be firmer, and there has to be some programs in place to get that kid the needs they have. But the other thing that's overlooked is you have a lot of kids. One of the reasons we're acting up so much on campuses is that we have kids that have a 4th, 5th grade reading level, and they're in a high school class at 11th grade or 12th grade. That kid's going to act up because they cannot function at that grade level, and they have nothing to lose. And speaking of nothing to lose, I'll give you, for instance, what they do in Clovis Unified. Clovis Unified has kids who are far below credits. That kid is not allowed on a mainstream campus that they have below X amount of credits. I couldn't tell you the exact number, but I believe if they're 30 credits below, deficits 30 credits, they're not allowed on a mainstream campus. Fresno Unified, we have kids on our campuses that have 125 credits missing. They have nothing to lose. So when you have that situation, I mean, we're talking about a broken educational system right now. And unless we have honest conversations about how to address it, we are going to be having this conversation 3 or 4 more times this year. The stuff going on in Wawona right now is not, I'm kind of biased to this area, the Bullard area of Fresno, but it's happening all over. It's just more convenient to go to Bullard High School because it's in a different area of town, and the news likes to put Bullard on news. It's happening at every single campus in Fresno Unified, and that is a fact. And so until we have these conversations, until board members start looking into it and asking for meaningful change and programs, until the FTA says, I do think that we need to have an alternative campus rather than, which I'm sure you've seen a proposal, house homeless people on school sites, and high school sites, that's not going to get it. We're changing kids' lives if you get to a program like Gateway or something of that equivalent and get them the counseling they need, get them the resources so they can get caught up academically and get that kid back to a mainstream campus. Until that happens, again, we're going to be doing this over and over, Philip. It's going to be just like Groundhog Day.
James, I appreciate the call. I appreciate the insight. And I appreciate the honesty, because there's no easy answer. And certainly burying our heads in the sand and pretending this isn't happening and ignoring the kind of behavior that we saw on the Bullard campus earlier this week, that's not going to move that ball down the field. But I think that your point about Fresno Unified maybe needing a gateway-type campus, that's incredibly well made. It is a place for those kids to go to get that extra intensive instruction and counseling that they need. I know the ESSER funds can't be used to pay for it because they're one-time funds, but we got to do something. We've got to reshuffle the deck, because what happened to this kid at Bullard earlier this week is not acceptable. That we've got parents and teachers from Wawona begging and pleading with the district, and the response is, oh, well, we'll teach the teachers to take more onto their plates, is not acceptable. The outcomes for our children are not acceptable. It's News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Phones are open for your calls at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858.
And taking a look at traffic conditions this afternoon, eastbound 152 at Upper Cottonwood. There's been a collision with injuries. This is out near Los Banos. And at Highway 41 and Lucky Lane, that's the lane that goes up to Chukchansi, there's been a collision, injuries involved there. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Clark Pest Control. For over 60 years, Clark Pest Control has been California's leader in pest control technology. If you need help getting rid of pests, termites, rodents, mosquitoes, and much more, contact Clark Pest Control for a free estimate today. Call 1-800-WE-NEED-YOU. That's 1-800-WE-NEED-YOU. Or visit clarkpest.com.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain-free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com. The children's music and dance teacher who couldn't cha-cha.
I was always on my feet. It was just so painful.
Elisa couldn't let her students down, so she stepped up and went to the Good Feet store for personally fitted arch supports.
I would work an entire day, and my feet didn't hurt at the end of the day. That was when I knew, wow, these are different.
But the really good part?
It's good to be dancing together again.
Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia. Good Feet, the official arch support of Fresno State Athletics.
For more than 35 years, Andros Engineering has been providing farmers with the most advanced equipment to install, extract, and retrieve drip irrigation. But did you know that Andros has also been a resource for farmers to develop specialized equipment, mechanizing difficult and labor-intensive field practices? Or that the Andros Recycling Program has revolutionized how drip tape is retrieved and recycled, helping farmers be more efficient and better manage drip tape materials. Take a look at Andros to see how our equipment, engineering, and programs can be a resource for your farm. Contact Miguel or Brian to learn more about the Andros drip irrigation equipment, recycling program, or research and development services at 805-227-2801 or visit andros-eng.com. Andros Engineering. Install, retrieve, reuse, and recycle more efficiently.
No one knows agriculture quite like AgriFinancial. With more than 500 combined years of ag experience, our ag lending experts truly understand your business. Since 1989, our mission has always been honesty, integrity, and commitment to quality service for our customers. Get started today at cgb-agfi.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Ollenberg, your local ag lending expert with AgriFinancial. I've dedicated my entire career to serving California ag producers. With Fresno as my home, I'd love to come to you, learn about your operation, and find the best solution to fit your goals. Call me at 559-231-3510. That's 559-231-3510. Or find me online at cgb-agfi.com.
We've all been called to bless kids in our communities, and Cars4Kids.org is helping generous and faithful listeners like you make a difference with that unused or unwanted vehicle. Donate your car, truck, van, motorcycle, or boat in any condition, and your blessing will go directly to kids and provide mental health services, education, food, housing, and basic necessities. So please call 866-835-5437 or give now at Cars4Kids.org. That's Cars4Kids.org. And right off the car, not the kid.
It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. Take advantage of huge discounts throughout the entire store. It's time to reward yourself and save big on all in-stock living room furniture, sectionals and recliners, bedroom sets, mattresses and accessories, casual or elegant dining room sets, patio furniture, and everything else. During Furniture City's President's Day sale, expect no money down, no interest, and no credit checks. It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. That's incredible. That's Furniture City.
This is KMJ Ag Director Don York inviting you to join me for this year's World Ag Expo, February 14th through the 16th. The World Ag Expo this year is live with seminars, demonstrations, and more. To visit the show, just go to worldagexpo.com. The KMJ Ag Reports are brought to you by Lawrence Tractor, your John Deere dealer. Peckway is the best orchard and vineyard spreaders for any application, big or small. Ian Tharp and Golden State Peterbilt, the transportation people.
Well, to the 3 o'clock hour at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Your phones are open at 490-5858 and toll free 800-776-5858. You can also find me on social media at DriveKMJ. We started the show talking about the violent assault on a student on the campus of Bullard High School. And my effort to get an answer from the Fresno Unified School District about just basic policy. How will this be dealt with? What are the potential consequences for one child kicking another child in the skull and in the face repeatedly? How about the consequences for the campus personnel that were nowhere to be found while this assault was taking place? The culture of fear and retaliation, as one person put it, the culture of retribution, as another has said once or twice, it raises the question in my mind. What is the Fresno Unified School District doing well? We got a couple of football programs that I think we could be pretty proud of. We got a couple of mock trial teams that seem to be really swinging for the fences. And we've got a bunch of kids who graduate high school without knowing how to read or write. We've got a bunch of kids in high school who behave like wild animals and who violently assault other students over whether slights are real or perceived. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm the toughest guy who ever lived. I'm absolutely not. A couple of times in my life, I've gotten my bell rung pretty good. But as a kid, I was in a few fights. You know, teenage boys punching each other in the nose nonsense. As a young man, I saw several bar fights. One of the places I like to go and drink, that was instead of live music, that you knew somebody was going to get hit at some point in the night. I never saw somebody get kicked in the face repeatedly. First of all, without any bystander stepping in. Instead, bystanders encouraging the behavior. I never saw children behave that way. And when I was in high school, I told you guys, I went to Gateway. I was one of the bad kids. That never happened at Gateway. But at Bullard High School, not only did it happen, but the response of the school seems to be, shh, shh, shh. Don't make us look bad by acknowledging it. And so we've got a kid at home recovering from a concussion, going to the doctor, making sure that there isn't serious and lasting damage, and contemplating what a return to school looks like while video of this assault circulates on social media, shot by some depraved little idiot who maybe thought it was funny, maybe thought they were chasing clout, maybe thought they were supporting their violent friend. And this kid's going to have to deal with that. (490-5858). Jill's on the phone. Welcome to KMJ, Jill.
Yeah, I think parents seem to be buffaloed into thinking that the school is the end all. You know, school districts, they can have all the committees and school rules and everything that they want, but that doesn't mean that that they're legal or one that they hold water. In other words, if a school has a policy, the policy does not supersede Ed Code that's in Sacramento, California State Ed Code. So as a parent, there is two things that I would do first. I would, number one, file a police report and give them a copy of the video and let them file a criminal police report. And number two, I would call Sacramento and say, what part of Ed Code covers an assault, especially when the victim is not fighting back according to school regulations. They make you a victim by saying, if you protect yourself and fight back or block or whatever, that you will be, it used to be that both of you would be suspended because you participated.
Sure.
So now we just have kids that are laying on the floor and getting kicked in the head and could cause brain damage easily, could kill them easily. So the superintendent of schools, and we've said this before, is in charge of all these schools. And he has to make sure that these school boards and these school committees do not engage in frivolous violations against ed code and the protection of students. I'm sorry, I thought you were trying to say something.
No, I was agreeing with you and encouraging you. Please continue.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't say this if I hadn't experienced it myself. I actually had the principal was arrested and taken down to jail in handcuffs because he did not protect my daughter. My daughter did not fight back, and he did not protect her. And that was his number one job, is to protect the students on that campus.
Jill,
and the district attorney's office agreed with it.
Jill, I'm
sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm frustrated to hear this story continue and repeat. And what I'm hearing from you, I think, could be boiled down neatly to school policies don't replace the law. And if a child is a victim of a criminal act, it may be necessary for the parents to simply engage law enforcement in order to get the situation dealt with appropriately.
Immediately. And you should take your child to the emergency room and have them x-rayed immediately. File a report. Then you also get, you call Sacramento and you get the ed code. So you know what violations this school is violating, because it's clear through ed code the protections that your child is guaranteed, because the state of California requires your child to be educated. It's a requirement. So if the state of California is assuming that, saying that your child has to go to school or have an education, and they go to a public school, which is a state of California, governed by the state of California, under the laws of all laws of the state of California, then they are held accountable. And parents allow these school principals and secretaries and this and that to convince them that no, you have no power, you have no authority, you have no grump. My dad always said, cut to the chase. You go straight to the person that's in charge, the state of California ed code and the Fresno Police Department. You file those two, and then later on, after you've paid, you can pay monthly bills for whatever your child, if you don't have insurance, to take care of their medical situations. Then you get a lawyer and you file a claim in small claims court or other courts against the family of the child that was the abuser.
Yeah, Jill,
if all parents did this nonsense of making these stupid committees and blah, blah, blah while kids are being injured in school will stop.
Jill, I appreciate your call very much, and I agree with you. It is unfortunately now necessary for parents to present the school with evidence of liability, not as a matter of common sense, not as a matter of basic human decency, but as a matter of being confronted with the paperwork prepared by an attorney in order to force them to even begin to do the right thing. And it's disgusting and it's wrong. I'm sorry to cut you short. We've got Jim Miller waiting to give us an update of headlines from the KMJ newsroom. And then, to Jill's point, I'm going to share with you the response that just came from the Chief Communications Officer of the Fresno Unified School District, who in her first email to me today about a child getting kicked in the face used lots and lots of exclamation points. Right now, though, Jim Miller.
KMJ News now.
It's 3:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller here in the KMJ News Center. Well, the annual World Ag Expo kicked off Tuesday. The event that celebrates agriculture takes place at the Tulare County until Thursday. Event organizers expecting over 100,000 people to show up for this year's event. The 144th Fire Wing is going to be taken to the night sky over the next few days for training here in Fresno. According to the 144th, flight training takes place out of Fresno Yosemite International through Friday and through Tuesday and Thursday of next week. The 144th says training should be over by 10 p.m. They plan to observe noise abatement procedures to avoid impacting those in the area at night. A Buffalo courtroom erupting in chaos today as Peyton Gendron was given a life sentence for the shooting that took place last year, killing 10. Fox's Alexis McAdams is in New York with a story.
The shooting happened 9 months ago, but this is still in these people's minds every single day. These heartbroken families talking directly to that gunman who took 10 innocent lives. One told the suspect she wanted to choke him out, and then there was chaos in that courtroom. Peyton Gendron is sentenced now to life in prison without any chance of parole, charged with a long list of crimes, including domestic terrorism motivated by hate and 10 counts of first-degree murder. Back in May, the 19-year-old gunman shot and killed 10 black people at the supermarket in Buffalo, New York. Police say Gendron planned that attack for weeks and targeted those innocent victims because of their skin color. Gendron faces more than 20 federal charges. It's a possibility that he could still face the death penalty.
Fresno State alumni Derek Carr is now one of the NFL's top free agents. The Raiders officially released him yesterday. Carr is allowed to sign with any team immediately. Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
Freeze warning continues through tomorrow morning. Expect overnight temperatures at or below freezing in most places, upper 20s there. So cover those outdoor plants and pipes. Otherwise, plenty of sunshine this afternoon with temperatures in the low to mid 50s. We get back to our normal high of 61 tomorrow. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at eastbound 152 at Upper Cottonwood. This is out near Los Banos. There's been a collision. Injuries involved there. And Highway 41 at Lucky Lane. That's the road that goes up to Chancey from Highway 41. There's a collision with injuries there, too. With KMJ Traffic in for Greg Lane, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. You need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blind shades and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends February 23rd. Blindster.com.
Join the ag community at World Ag Expo to see the latest in agriculture February 14th through the 16th at the International Agri Center in Tulare. Wear comfortable shoes to see all 2.6 million square feet of exhibit space. Admissions $20 at the gate. Or buy tickets now at worldagexpo.com. Use code ULTRA for $3 off each ticket online. For more information, visit worldagexpo.com. That's worldagexpo.com. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra and Bueno Beverage Company.
Every time I, Ray Appleton, saunter into Lou Rodman's Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium, brand new, right next to Fashion Furniture across from Lowe's, the inventory grows and grows and grows. Let's remember, this began 18 years ago, all about bar stools. Central California needed bar stools. Now it's grown to where you can walk in and you can grab 2 or 22. They're in stock, they're ready to go. Throw them in the truck and you're out of there. One thing that Lou didn't have practically all last year was outdoor bar stools. He's got them. The supply chain fiasco is over with that little bit of inventory. Get him while he's got him. And the Amish inventory, it's expanded from beyond just Noah Bontrager, who's still doing outstanding things for Lou Rodman, to about 4 or 5 different lines. Amish bedroom sets on fire. Wait until you see these. Something that really caught my eye is the line of Barnwood leather living room furniture. Oh man, bars, gaming tables, dining sets from everywhere. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium, right next to Fashion Furniture.
Hi, I'm Selena Janae, Events Manager for the Fresno Chamber of Commerce. Please join me in celebrating the 2023 Valley Business Awards presented by Central Valley Community Bank on Wednesday, February 22nd at the historic Warner's Theater. We are thrilled to honor Sally Caglia as the 2023 Leon S. Peters Award recipient. Also being recognized, Jeffrey Scott Agency, Fresno Street Eats, Clark Bros Inc., and Lavrall LLC. Tickets are on sale now at fresnochamber.com. That's FresnoChamber.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WIN for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WIN for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WIN.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale is here. Shop and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. Plus, get a $300 instant gift good towards sleep accessories. Find your dream bed at Mattress Firm. Then cozy up on your new bed, because there's nothing better than staying in.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day. Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
It's 3:40 on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi at News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ. Phones are open at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. Got just a couple more minutes. We've got a great guest coming up. About 20 minutes from now, I'm going to be joined by Congressman Tom McClintock. He's got some new committee assignments he wants to talk about. He's got some new legislation. He has just introduced it to the 118th Congress. And we're going to talk about what he is prioritizing in this new session and what he sees as being primary objectives for House Republicans in what I know the Democrats won't admit it, but what I think is the lame duck session of the Joe Biden presidency. Tom McClintock joins me after the news at 4 o'clock. Right now, 490-5858. We're going to talk to Kim next, another teacher. Kim, welcome to KMJ.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay, but nobody's kicked me in the face this week.
Well, and I would have to say that, unfortunately, that happens quite a bit in Fresno Unified at schools, and teachers are told not to talk about it. I got in trouble and had a verbal reprimand for just breaking up kids fighting, and even was told I had to go to the office and sit down and speak to the parent of one of the children who was mad because I touched her child, and I stopped them from punching each other.
Oh my God, it's Kim. This would have been a joke. I mean, a literal setup and punchline joke when you and I were kids.
It's no joke, because teachers are basically you're not supposed to send kids to the office. When you do, they say, "Are you sure they said that? Are you sure they were fighting?" They say they were playing, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, they were like closed fists punching each other." What? You don't believe me? Well, they say they weren't doing it. Are you sure? Are you sure? It's like, yeah, sure.
So, Kim, let me ask you, have you started looking at employment in a different district so you don't have to put up with this?
Oh, how about a different state?
Well, and then there's that. I'm sorry to hear that that's what it's come to, and I'm glad that you chose to do at least a little bit of time here in California. I cannot imagine being a teacher, trying to maintain discipline, trying to maintain order, and being called into the office like a naughty child for keeping two children from hitting it. And then the insult of, well, are you sure? Unbelievable. Christopher, I got just a minute left on this, my friend. Welcome to KMJ.
Hello?
Hey, Christopher, you're on the air.
Yes, I am a school board trustee in another school district.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not going to mention what school district because I don't want to get jammed up and give out any confidential because parents would be able to connect the dots. Okay.
Sure.
Last Saturday, I got an email from a parent regarding of what she saw on social media, because that's what the kids do who stand around, who watch the fights and the assaults. They're pulling out their phones and then they record and then they submit because they want to see who has the best video, okay, instead of breaking it up, okay. The incident happened was there was a bully. It started off with a regular fist fight, rolling around, wrestling. My staff going over there, breaking up the fight, and apparently on the way home, this bully then assaulted the victim.
Yeah.
Punching him in the head. The victim goes down. He's then kicking the victim in the head.
Yeah.
About 4 or 5 times, then straddling the victim, punching him in the head, and then when he was finally done, he stood up and used his right foot and stomped him in the head, using all of his weight, okay? And this was a big kid, okay?
Christopher, what you're describing is making me physically ill to hear. What did your school district do about it?
I told the parent to go call the police. Parent tells me already did. The police said that they can't do anything because it happened on school ground. But the second video, I can see that it's not school ground. It's in somebody's backyard, practically, okay? Because I know all of my schools, okay?
Sure.
And my experience in the past is districts, they don't want this to come out. They want it to go away because they're all worried about getting fired.
Well, they should be. I mean, isn't that what should happen when adults allow children to behave this way? They should get fired. Christopher, I appreciate the call. I'm sorry to cut it short, but I got to get to a break. I got Christopher Gabriel out at the World Ag Expo. I got Ron McCary with another look at the traffic for your drive home. And we got to keep moving forward. But I really appreciate you calling. I'm sorry this is happening in your district too. And I'm not sure exactly what we do next. I just know that doing nothing, it's not satisfying. And it's not okay. And it's not serving our children the way that we're supposed to serve our children.
And taking a look at Wednesday afternoon traffic, Highway 63 at Ira Avenue. This is in Tulare County. There's been a hit and run with no injuries. Eastbound 152 at Upper Cottonwood, that's out towards Los Banos. There's been a collision with injuries involved. Highway 41 at Lucky Lane, the road that goes up to Chickchansee. There's been a collision. There's cleanup going on there. Injuries were involved with that one. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Christopher Gabriel from Newstalk 580 1059 KMJ at the World Ag Expo. I am in the Ag Center booth, and I am with Andy Zavorik from Barrier Solar. How are you, my friend?
Doing well, doing well. Less windy today.
It is much less windy. You don't see tents or small children flying around. I want to talk with you about a couple of things in the time that we have. So I've seen what happens at a site analysis for solar and residential. This is obviously a major ag exposition. Can you take me through what goes on when an ag group, a farm, what have you, wants to have solar there? How does that work?
Yeah, so obviously they reach out to us in regards to wanting to, lower their electrical costs. We come out, we do a site evaluation, we collect data from the infrastructure of their electrical panel, their land, their transformers, right? We take an inventory of what they have available to house solar, right? And then what we'll do is we'll collect their electrical bills on 1, 2, 3, multiple meters or different configurations that PG&E allows for ag solar, and that's called NEM-A, Net Energy Metering with Aggregation. Once we collect those bills, my team gets together. We create a size that will offset that power usage that we've discovered, and what will be allowed on their facility.
And I guess the follow-up would be, is this, and it may be a pedestrian question, so forgive me, is this an exponentially more difficult analysis because of the size you're talking about?
You know what? It's funny. So residentially or commercial or ag base, they're all pretty. It's all pretty similar. You get a little bit more convoluted when you're talking about 2 meters to up to 50 meters, right? Obviously that gets more challenging. And with commercial or ag, when you're dealing with 480 volt systems, the infrastructure compared to your typical residence, it does get a little bit more difficult.
Gotcha. We're talking with Andy Zavorek from Barrier Solar. All right, I want to talk about NEM 3.0. It was voted on back in mid-December. This is going to have, or potentially going to have, an effect on folks who are in NEM 2.0, NEM 1.0. Lay that out for us in the time that we have remaining, because it's a little complicated, but there's a lot of money involved here.
Yeah, so ultimately right now, PG&E and SoCal Edison, whoever you're dealing with, is paying you exactly what you're ultimately paying for power, right? It's a dollar for dollar situation where the things have changed now from NEM 2 to NEM 3. PG&E, for any excess power that you are going to ultimately generate and send back to the grid, they're not going to give you that dollar for dollar. They're going to pay you a fraction of it, and it varies. But ultimately, it's ultimately close to 70-75% less than what you would do if your system was self-consuming the power. So when you have a meter on any property, well, it's a push and pull, right? You have a load side and you have a line side, right? Or a generation side. So when your solar system is producing power and your facility is using power, it offsets evenly, right? And that's called self-consumed power. That power is ultimately eliminated at the same cost that you normally would pay it. The problem is for farmers right now, and that's what we're dealing with, is farmers water 6, 7, 8 months out of the year. There's 5 months out of the year where they're counting on that power to be bought back from them at the price that they normally would pay. Well, now, and I shouldn't say now because the NEM A is not going to change for 10 years. This is more commercial. Any excess power not self-consumed is going to be bought back at 3 to 5 cents a kilowatt hour.
You know, what I love about coming here is I get a little smarter thanks to guys like you. Andy Zavorek from Barrier Solar. Thank you, my friend. I wish we had more time.
Absolutely.
My conversation with Andy, sponsored by the good folks at Becerra Farm Services, Twister Sprayers, Barrier Solar, and roofing, of course, Water and Land Solutions, Century Ag Services. This is Christopher Gabriel from News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ at the World Ag Expo in the Ag Center booth.
This report is sponsored by the California DMV. Did you know that many DMV tasks, like renewing your registration or starting your Real ID application, can be done online any time of day? Check them off your to-do list without a trip to the DMV. Get started today at dmv.ca.gov/online.
Mr. World here, about to take the plunge on the world's fastest roller coaster. I hope it's as fast as the in-store labs at Eyeglass World. When you drop in there, they make your glasses the same day. You should give it a whirl. Just remember to keep your hands and feet inside the Eyeglass World at all times.
Get 2 pairs of glasses for $89 fast at Eyeglass World, the world's best way to buy glasses. Visit eyeglassworld.com to schedule your exam online and for offer details.
Mike Sherinian, owner of The Elbow Room.
Brunch has become the most rockin' day of the week, and we've made it now 2 days. So Saturday and Sunday brunch starts at 10 in the morning, and what really makes those 2 days unique is that you can get 14 or 15 different brunch items, and then you can get another 20 lunch items. There's going to be something for everybody.
Partner that delicious brunch with one of The Elbow Room's specialty craft cocktails and make a toast to great taste. Try our famous Bloody Mary topped with applewood smoked bacon. Our tangy guava delight is sure to wake up your taste buds. And the blood orange bourbon sour is brimming with flavor. A full craft cocktail menu awaits at The Elbow Room.
And that gives you every reason to come in on Saturday and Sunday, because nobody's going to say, well, I can't get what I want. Brunch is where it's at.
The Elbow Room in Fig Garden Village. Call 227-1234 to make your reservations.
Treat yourself to something great.
Duarte Nursery is the leader in potted almond trees. The new almond variety, Yorizani the Gold Nut, is a recently released self-fertile almond by the USDA. Yorizani has been field tested statewide and is a top performer in the regional almond variety trials. Yorizani is a standout performer in both quality and production. Yorizani almond trees are available from Duarte Nursery for your plantings now. Duarte Nursery has all of the best rootstocks, including Bright's Hybrid 5 and Krimsk 86 available. Learn about Duarte Nursery's new and improved pistachio program. Duarte Nursery pistachios are bigger with the new Moon Unit budded trees. Crop years ahead. Save pre-productive time and several acre-feet of water by planting Moon Units. The new Vigor Clone rootstocks establish faster, come into production faster, and plateau at higher production levels than standard pistachio rootstocks. Duarte Nursery has several budded pistachio tree formats available, including the Moon Units for 2022 and 2023 spring planting. Talk to your Duarte Nursery field rep today.
February may be the shortest month, but as they say, big things come in small packages. Because it's a promotion frenzy this February at the Tachi Palace. Over $160,000 in cash and prizes. Over 2,500 promotion winners. See TachiPalace.com or the Premier Club for complete promotion details. It's a promotion frenzy! All packed into the shortest month at the Tachi Palace Casino Resort. This is 40!
Midland Tractor in Madera has been rooted in the community for more than 50 years. Family grown and family run with a family feel. Our team works hard to provide innovative products and services that help you to stay efficient, and we are here for you even after the sale with 24/7 service and will continue to grow with you season after season. Midland Tractor in Madera is your hometown John Deere dealer with great offers and savings on compact tractors and riding lawnmowers. Need parts? No problem. You call, we haul. Get your parts order in before 1 p.m. to get your same-day delivery at one of our 9 Dropbox locations. For John Deere products, visit us today in Madera, across from the Madera Fairgrounds. Midland Tractor, equipment solutions, guaranteed. All offers are subject to availability and expire October 31st, 2023. This is Jake Leonardo, grandson of Midland Tractor.
The most streamed station in the Valley. PCs, phones, smart speakers, and KMJNow.com.
Rolling up on 4 o'clock on your afternoon drive. This is News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Congressman Tom McClintock is going to join me after an update of headlines from the KMJ newsroom. He's got a bunch of new legislation he has introduced, as well as some committee assignments to talk about when we get back after that update of headlines with Jim Miller, and another look at your drive home with Ron McCary in the KMJ Traffic Center. And after we wrap up with Congressman McClintock, Nikki Henry, the Fresno Unified Chief Communications Officer, has responded to my questions. Kinda. I'll share that email with you a little bit later on this afternoon. It's your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Congressman McClintock on the way. Don't move.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Every small business owner knows business happens everywhere. The office, the warehouse, or on the road. And no matter where it takes you, there's one solution to help your business thrive. Comcast Business Complete Connectivity. It's the largest, fastest, reliable network with advanced gig speed Wi-Fi and cyber threat protection in one solution. Get started for just $49.99 a month. Plus, add Comcast Business Mobile and you can save up to 60% a year on your wireless bill. And ask how to get up to a $750 prepaid card.
Flight 291 is now aboard.
Yep, you're going places. And when you get there, be ready to do business. The complete connectivity solution from the company that powers more small businesses than any other provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/21/2023. Restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New 50 megabits per second internet and Comcast Business Security Edge customers only. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Gig internet required for gig Wi-Fi. Mobile savings compares pricing of top 3 carriers.
Stop wasting precious water and fertilizers by being connected to your trees and your infrastructure.
Get ready for Sigma with water reports. Simplify planning with Phytech's new farm management tool. Save energy and labor during peak hours with automation. Enjoy Phytech's hassle-free mating disruption solution and DVI maps, soil moisture data, frost, climate, and wind machines monitoring. With Phytech, you'll never grow alone. Get peace of mind with our 24/7 agronomic and tech support. Contact us at phytech.com.
Helen here with Chris Moran with a major solar industry update. So Chris, what makes this update so urgent?
The state of California has released a decision that will cut the savings from a new solar system by 75%. It's called NEM 3.0. Luckily, anyone who already has solar under NEM 2.0 will be locked in under the current benefits. But anyone who goes solar after April will do so under the new program, which honestly isn't great.
So, what should people do?
Well, for anyone listening, if you've been considering solar, now really is the time. Many people will regret not getting their system installed before these changes go into effect. And once April comes, it'll be too late.
And since Solar Negotiators is the only contractor to provide lifetime maintenance and no true-up monitoring, people can make the right choice. Lock in your project now with Solar Negotiators powered by Solar Maintenance Pros, your lifetime energy partner.
Donate your old vehicle to carsforkids.org, the best car vehicle donation program. Your generosity changes the lives of kids right here in our community with a second chance at a better future. Before you sell or give away that old vehicle in any condition, please donate it to carsforkids.org. Carsforkids.org picks up cars, trucks, motorcycles for free. Plus, you'll get a $50 Visa gift card. It's so easy to donate to carsforkids.org. Please, write off the car, not the kid.
Looking forward to meeting agricultural businesses at the World Ag Expo? Stop by the Ag Center booth U54 February 14th through the 16th and meet with over 30 businesses in one.
News Talk 580 AM 1059 FM KMJ Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
It's 4 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. Here's what's happening. A Visalia man found guilty yesterday in the murder of a local dairyman. Prosecutors with the Tulare County Superior Court in Visalia finalized a guilty verdict against 29-year-old Jorge Rivera in the 2019 shooting death of Anthony Dratt. Detectives say Rivera was an ex-employee of the victim, and on September 3rd, 2019, Rivera went to the dairy in the 10100 block of Avenue 352 and shot Dratt multiple times with a 9mm handgun. Witnesses had told detectives they saw Rivera in the area looking for the victim. A car similar to Rivera's was also seen on camera leaving the area after the shooting. He was found by authorities hours later driving near Rich Grove in the same car. Jurors found Rivera guilty of first-degree murder. Sentencing is scheduled to take place March 29. A Fresno man is launching his bid for Fresno mayor. KMJ's Liz Kern has the details.
State Water Manager Lauren Hubbard has officially launched his campaign. He's running against 63-year-old Jerry Dyer, the current mayor of Fresno. The 34-year-old Democrat had filed paperwork with the city last November. The primary is March 5th, 2024. Hubbard, who is black, said in a news release that he's focusing on improved housing and the environment. He says the establishment system of career politicians has led many to believe there's not another option, and he's running to change that. Hubbard and Dyer are the only two candidates so far who have filed. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
2 people hospitalized after a crash this morning in Tulare County. Tulare County firefighters responded to Avenue 208 and Road 216 near Strathmore. One person receiving major injuries. Another had moderate injuries. Both people transported to local hospitals. Well, questions remain in Ohio over whether or not East Palestine is safe to live anymore following the train derailment and controlled burn of toxic chemicals. Fox's Jeff Minoso reports.
Ohio's Department of Health and the Environmental Protection Agency have said that air monitoring systems have not detected any levels of health concerns following a catastrophic train derailment earlier this month and chemical burn that spewed vinyl chloride and other toxins. Area locals report illnesses and thousands of dead fish and other wildlife.
The gates of hell were open.
We've all been exposed. What's the truth? What's not the truth? We don't know.
Evacuations have since been lifted amid complaints of lack of direction and resources all the way up to the federal level, and as lawsuits continue to pile up against Norfolk Southern Railway. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
Freeze warning continues through tomorrow morning. Expect overnight temperatures at or below freezing in most places, upper 20s there. So cover those outdoor plants and pipes. Otherwise, plenty of sunshine this afternoon with temperatures in the low to mid 50s. We get back to our normal high of 61 tomorrow. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at Wednesday afternoon traffic, quite a bit of congestion on northbound Highway 99 from Malaga on up to Jensen. And we're looking at a Highway 63 and Ira Avenue. Highway 63, Ira Avenue in Tulare County. There has been a hit and run with no injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chochansi Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chochansi Gold Resort and Casino.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day. Philip Teresi on News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
It's 4:04 on your afternoon drive. This is News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Glad to have you along for the ride. Thank you guys for a lot of really important, sometimes difficult phone calls the last couple of hours. We're switching gears in a big way right now. Very pleased to welcome back to KMJ and to the program, Congressman Tom McClintock. Welcome back, sir. Good afternoon.
Well, thanks for having me back, Philip.
You've got a lot of irons in the fire in this 118th Congress. Do we start with the committee assignments or do we start with the legislation, sir?
Well, I'm delighted with the committee assignments. They're the committees that I've served for a number of years now. Budget committee, because I think it's absolutely essential to the country. I'm now chairing the immigration subcommittee, which I think is also perhaps a mortal threat to our country at this point. And, of course, natural resources, which is fire and water issues that are critical to the district. So I've got, it's going to be a busy session, that's for sure.
Congressman, let me ask you about immigration in particular, because that seems to be starting to come back to the forefront as one of the big political footballs, not just in this session of Congress, but in this news cycle. On this subcommittee, do you see any hope for real meaningful immigration reform? Do you see any opportunity to reach across the aisle and do something that works for the American people and for folks who want to immigrate legally? Or are we still at a stalemate?
I think it's going to be very hard, first of all, because the parties are so far apart on this issue. We had a hearing in Judiciary Committee a few days ago. The Democrats made it very clear they want to accelerate the admission of illegals into the country. And there's also the trust issue. This administration refuses to enforce current immigration law. Why would we trust that they would enforce a future immigration law as a result of a compromise? It's frustrating to think that just 25 months ago, the borders were secure. The border wall was nearing completion. The Remain in Mexico policy had slowed phony asylum claims to a trickle. We were actually enforcing court-ordered deportations. All of those policies were reversed by Joe Biden on Inauguration Day. The result's been the utter collapse of our southern border, and the numbers are absolutely staggering. In 25 months, this administration has deliberately admitted into our country 1.7 million illegal aliens. 800,000 of them haven't even been given notices to appear in court. And while the Border Patrol has been overwhelmed by this influx, 1.2 million known gotaways have also entered the country. So you add that up, that's 2.9 million impoverished and dependent illegal immigrants who have been admitted directly into our communities. 2.9 million. That is the entire population of the state of Mississippi, every man, woman, and child living there in just 25 months. And I don't understand how it makes our schools better to pack classrooms with non-English speaking students, or how it makes our hospitals more accessible by flooding our emergency rooms with illegals demanding care, or how it strengthens our social safety net by adding millions of impoverished, dependent individuals to a system that's already strained to the breaking point. How does it make our children safer with fentanyl flooding our neighborhoods? How does it make our communities safer to introduce these violent cartels into them and make it all but impossible to deport illegal aliens? And how in the world are we helping working, struggling families by flooding the labor market with cheap illegal labor? I don't understand any of this.
Congressman, forgive me if I'm being naive. I sometimes lack the perspective because I don't have a seat at the table. If we were, and when I say we, I mean if the American Congress, if the House of Representatives was to sit down and hammer out just as a single piece, not as a comprehensive answer, but was to sit down and hammer out a real guest worker program that requires anybody coming into the country with the intention of seeking work to simply register and to pay their fair share in our system of taxes and tariffs while they're here, so that they are no longer illegal aliens. They are now guest workers, like in the vein of the old Bracero program.
I was going to say, you've just described the Bracero program, which worked very well. The problem now is that the numbers are just off the scales. The estimates are running 20 to 30 million illegal immigrants now in the country. We've got 1.2 million court-ordered deportations. These are people who've gone through the process, have had their day in court. The court has ordered them deported, and Biden's simply ignoring it. Now, we start talking about a new amnesty, a new path to citizenship. All we're doing is encouraging more and more people to come across our wide open border. We can't even have those discussions until the border is secured and our current immigration laws are being enforced. Because as I said earlier, if this administration isn't going to enforce our current immigration laws, why would we trust that they're going to enforce any future laws? This is quite deliberate. I don't think this is coming out of incompetence or simply bad policy. This is absolutely deliberate on their part. And that's what makes this so different from the border issues that we faced in the past. And again, when I reflect on the fact that we had a secure border just 25 months ago because we were completing the border wall, because of the Remain in Mexico policy, and because we were actually enforcing court-ordered deportations, and to watch all of those successful policies reversed, and now to see, again, a population the size of the entire state of Mississippi deliberately admitted into this country in just 25 months, it's shocking. And I don't know of any civilization that has ever survived this magnitude of mass illegal migration. When I was at the border recently in the Yuma sector, the Border Patrol officers told me two things. Number one, said it's not a question of new laws. It's simply a matter of enforcing our existing laws. And they also said, don't send us any more money because this administration will just use it to process illegals faster into the country.
Congressman, is this ultimately going to come down to a question of the will of the voter? I mean, does it really? Yes. It does it really boil down to we have to put the right people in Congress, we have to put the right people in the executive branch?
When people ask me how could this be happening, the answer is pretty simple. This is exactly what Biden and the Democrats promised they were going to do. If you voted for them, this is exactly what you voted for. And if you're surprised by that, you weren't paying any attention.
So, Congressman, I want to jump forward to the balanced budget amendment. This is another one of the pieces of legislation that you've introduced into the 118th Congress. I feel like we've talked about this before. How many times have you tried to get a balanced budget amendment on the books?
We've been trying for many, many years, along with a line item veto authority for the president. Yeah. Those are very, very important policies that at some point we're going to have to adopt. The only question is whether it comes because of a financial collapse caused by record excess spending, or whether we choose to bring our spending under control before that happens.
When you and David Valadao and Speaker McCarthy and once upon a time Devin Nunes would try and move this ball down the field, it's always met with resistance. Have you ever heard a coherent explanation for why the United States of America should not have a balanced budget?
Because spending is so pleasant that politicians often have a hard time saying no. It comes down to that. You want the crisis summed up in 4 words. It's the spending stupid. And until we can discipline ourselves, we're going to see inflation continue to worsen. Interest rates, or interest costs, I should say, are now the fastest growing part of the federal budget. We're paying over $400 billion a year to do nothing but rent the money we've already spent. And at this rate, it will not be long before our interest costs exceed our actual defense spending. And interest costs produce absolutely nothing. As I said, it's just renting money we've already spent. And then you look at in inflation. We all know the definition of inflation is too many dollars chasing too few goods. What did this administration do? Proposed endless new taxes, which suppress productivity, and then flood the market with extra dollars, printing trillions of dollars we don't have. And the result is the inflation rate's gone from 1.4%, where it was on Inauguration Day 2 years ago, to 6.4% now, a 41-year high. And what that does, I mean, you talk about tax increases. Suppose on Inauguration Day you'd managed to save $100,000 towards your retirement. You just paid a $14,400 tax on that $100,000 of savings. That's what inflation has taken from you. If you earned $50,000 on Inauguration Day, you've just lost $7,200 of your purchasing power. It turns out that all that free money that they sent us, it's actually very expensive, and you're paying it back every day at the gas station, at the supermarket, wherever you're spending dollars.
No, as you are speaking, I am remembering my financial advisor reminding me not to go look at my 401k until we get another president into office.
Well, that's a separate issue.
Yeah,
that's a question of what this is doing to the overall economy.
Yes,
if you look at your bank statement, that $100,000, you still have that $100,000. It's just worth $14,400 less. It will buy $14,400 less stuff, even though the bank balance looks exactly the same. That's the insidious thing about inflation.
I follow you completely, and it's still giving me a bad case of agita. But I think that H.R. 187, the Default Prevention Act, really kind of goes hand in glove with trying to get us to a balanced budget. This is about really maintaining the credit worthiness of the United States Treasury, isn't it?
Right. What it's a bill that I've introduced several sessions now, and what it says is that if we hit an impasse over the debt limit or over appropriations bills, the Treasury can continue to spend money to pay the interest costs on the debt to protect the full faith and credit of the United States. It's a pretty simple matter. If you're living off your credit cards, you damn well better be sure to make the minimum payment on them every month, and that's what our country's been doing. And in order to take that off the table and to have a serious discussion over what is causing this overspending, I think that's going to be an important tool.
Something that's popped up in different arenas, but it's crossed my mind as possibly being relevant to this. I don't even think it's new, but the recently exposed habit of Chinese corporations coming in, buying up American housing stock, buying up American farmland with different intentions for those acquisitions. When we hear about Chinese ownership of American debt, how much of that is the debt of the federal government versus having bought consumer debt, owning mortgages, owning credit cards, debt, that kind of thing? And does H.R. 187 address that specific component in any way?
Again, most of the debt is owned by Americans.
Yeah.
About half of it's owned by foreigners. I think the current figure is about 10% is owned by China. That's not going up. And I'm not too worried about the purchases of, I remember years ago when Japan was going to eat our economic lunch, they bought the Rockefeller Plaza, and somebody told economist Arthur Laffer what a terrible thing that was. And he says, that's awful. The Japanese are going to buy Rockefeller Plaza. Where are they going to take it? My point is, I think the greatest threat to the American economy is not coming from China. It's coming from us. It's coming from these policies, and that's within our power to change.
My guest is Congressman Tom McClintock. When we get back, we're going to continue to talk about some of this legislation that the congressman has introduced, including the Proven Forest Management Act, the Action versus No Action Act. Still a lot of ground to cover. We will be back with Congressman Tom McClintock in just a minute on the Afternoon Drive on KMJ. Don't move.
And looking at traffic, northbound 99 from downtown up to McKinley Avenue is slowing quite down. It's becoming congested. A quick reminder, Armstrong Avenue from East Floridora Avenue in East Fresno to Mill Ditch is currently closed for street improvements and home development in that area. The improvements have a reopening date tentatively scheduled for March 10th, 2023. With KMJ Traffic, in for Greg Lane, I'm Ron McCarran.
Hi, I'm Joe Holstein, president of SunPower by Quality Home Services, with an urgent message. The local utilities are changing the solar rates and credits, and it's not in your favor. It's estimated that with this new plan, known as NEM 3, new solar customers will lose as much as 75% of the savings that solar provides. That's the bad news. The good news is there's still time to get signed up on the current plan, but you only have until April 15th. So if you've ever thought about going solar or thought about adding on to your current system, now is the time. Call today before it's too late. Solar never has been and never will be as affordable as it is right now. So act today. Visit our website at sunpowerbyqhs.com. That's sunpowerbyqhs.com. Please don't miss out and don't delay. Act today before it's too late.
Don't miss out on the savings. Go to sunpowerbyqhs.com. That's sunpowerbyqhs.com. CSLB 716208.
World Ag Expo is back. See the latest and greatest in agriculture February 14th through the 16th at the International Agri Center in Tulare. See the top 10 new products, sit in on a seminar, test drive a Toyota truck, watch a livestock demonstration. Admissions $20 at the gate. Or buy tickets now at worldagexpo.com. Use code ULTRA for $3 off each ticket online. For more information, visit worldagexpo.com. That's worldagexpo.com. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra and Bueno Beverage Company.
Life can be extremely stressful and overwhelming. Most, if not all of us, can relate. If you or anyone you know is in crisis or suicidal, call the Central Valley Suicide Prevention Hotline. It's free and confidential. Call 1-800-273-8255. There is always help, and we are here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Reach out at 1-800-273-8255.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote,
My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Samba through big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
.423 on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. My guest this hour is Congressman Tom McClintock. The 118th Congress is in session, and the congressman has not allowed any time to pass before trying to get this Congress to do the right thing. And we'll pick up where we left off, Congressman. The Proven Forest Management Act, H.R. 188, how much of this is California? How much of this is concern for the entire national forest system?
Well, both. We actually got this measure, which basically it cuts through the red tape when you need to start a forest thinning project. It allows for a categorical exclusion from the National Environmental Policy Act for forest thinning projects up to 10,000 acres. What that it has been used when we got it passed. We had to limit it to the Tahoe Basin because of left-wing opposition in the Senate. But it's proven itself. Under current law, it takes now about 4 years to do the environmental studies before you can thin a tract of the forest. 4 years, millions and millions of dollars. The result is that not a lot of it gets done. What this does is cut through that red tape. It's worked for the Tahoe Basin. In fact, it's what saved the city of Lake Tahoe during the Caldor fire last year. That fire hit a treated section under that new authority, which takes the study time from 4 years down to about 4 months. It takes the environmental impact statement from about 800 pages down to a dozen. And when it hit that tract of land, the fire laid down and they were able to put it out before it hit the city of South Lake Tahoe. This bill simply expands that authority throughout the national forest system, and that's so desperately needed. All of that excess timber is going to come out of the forest one way or another. Either we're going to carry it out or nature's going to burn it out, but it will come out. That's why we created the Forest Service, to carry out that excess timber before it could be burned out and choke off the forest in the meantime. We used to make money doing that. The federal timber auctions would actually generate revenues for local governments. About 25% of it went directly into local coffers. The other 75% we were put back into the Forest Service. All of these environmental regulations totally destroy the value of those auctions, and now they actually cost us money. So as I said, not a lot gets done. This simply starts to cut through all of that red tape and get back to that era where we were able to produce resilient, healthy forests and a thriving local economy.
And I feel like this was meant to be paired with H.R. 189, the Action versus No Action Act. Basically, if I'm understanding this right, it requires federal land management agencies to evaluate activity and whether or not, just boil it down. Do we need to do something or not?
Exactly. You just have to, it requires them to take into account a very simple question. What's the cost of doing nothing? And we've discovered, as these laws have done more and more damage to the forest, that the cost of doing nothing is huge, and we now have entire tracts of forest that have been choked to death by overgrowth.
Congressman, I'm not surprised to see very common sense, very, very high value legislation coming from you, and first of all, I appreciate that, and I'm grateful for that. Yesterday, we saw the announcement that Dianne Feinstein is no longer going to run for her own Senate seat. She's going to finish her term, and in 2 years, 2024, she's done. Is there any chance that we can talk you into running for Dianne Feinstein's seat?
No, I've got my hands full in the House. Thank you very much, Philip. But I have to say, she has been an ally in these fights to restore sound forest management to our national forests. She was on the Democratic side in the Senate. She's the one that was able to at least get through the streamlining of the process for the Tahoe Basin, and we're going to miss her a lot, I think, on those issues.
That's very gracious of you, and I'm glad to hear that she was working for the people here. Yesterday, there was a farm bill listening session at the World Ag Expo. David Valadeo was there. Jim Costa was there. The Speaker of the House of Representatives was there. You guys had a kind of a nice little selection of representatives attend. How do you think that Kevin McCarthy, being the Speaker of the House, will give Valley agriculture in particular a little bit more of a fighting chance to get some of what it needs in terms of federal relief, deregulation?
Oh, I think it's going to be absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. I mean, again, he's represented the Central Valley for his entire political career. He understands these issues better than just about anyone. He's been a huge ally on all of these water issues and these forest management issues. He gets it. And having him as Speaker of the House is an enormous asset for the region and for the cause of both water development and sound forest management.
Congressman, before I let you get back to it, is there anything else that folks should be looking for from your office in the near future?
Well, again, I'm focusing on the fire and water issues locally and the budget and immigration issues nationally. I think that gives me a pretty full plate right now. So we're doing a town hall meeting tonight, as a matter of fact, because I know there are a lot of other issues on people's minds, but that pretty much takes care of my bandwidth.
Congressman, I appreciate your time as always. I look forward to the next opportunity.
Thanks, Philip. Take care.
You as well. That is Congressman Tom McClintock, representing California's 5th Congressional District, on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
KMJ News now.
It's 4:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. 3 people dead after a car flipped onto a truck Tuesday in Los Banos. CHP responded to the crash involving multiple cars near Highway 152 and Hilldale Road. All 3 people in the Tacoma pickup receiving fatal injuries all died at the scene. The man of the Mercedes receiving major injuries. He was flown to a hospital. Debris from both cars hit a Toyota Highlander, but everyone inside the vehicle okay with no reported injuries. Drugs or alcohol do not appear to be a factor in this crash. Multiple drivers arrested and cited at a Fresno DUI checkpoint Sunday. Fresno police conducting that checkpoint near Shaw Avenue and 4th Street from 2 to midnight. According to Fresno police, 5 people arrested for driving under the influence. 28 drivers were cited for driving with a suspended or revoked license. Officers arresting 1 driver for carrying a loaded gun that was unregistered. Fresno Police Department set to conduct another DUI checkpoint on Saturday. A Second Amendment sanctuary measure overturned in Oregon. Fox's Kristen Goodwin has more.
The Oregon Court of Appeals rules local governments in the state cannot declare themselves Second Amendment sanctuaries and ban law enforcement officials from enforcing most federal and state gun laws. Supporters of the ordinance approved in Columbia County in 2020 say it aims to protect Second Amendment rights. The court finding it violates a law giving the state the power to regulate firearms. Oregon Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum, who opposed the ordinance, says the decision makes it clear that common sense requirements like safe storage and background checks apply throughout the state. The ruling, the first major legal challenge to such resolutions that have been adopted by hundreds of local governments across the U.S. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
Plenty of sunshine this afternoon with temperatures in the low to mid 50s. We get back to our normal high of 61 tomorrow. Freeze warning continues through tomorrow morning, so expect overnight temperatures to be at or below freezing in most places, likely upper 20s. So cover those outdoor plants and pipes. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic in the 41,000 block of Road 127. This is in Tulare County. 41,000 block of Road 127. There's been a collision with unknown injuries. And northbound 99 from downtown up to McKinley is quite congested this afternoon. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
I know exactly how you feel. You're sitting there at the gas pump wondering, am I ever going to have a regular meal again? Because you're cutting out all the good food because you can't afford the gas, right? Wait until you see your next PG&E bill. No more meals out and no more hair because you're going to be pulling that out as well, too. Do what I did. Planet Solar. When you have a solar system put in by Planet Solar, you literally lock in your energy price forever. Don't you wish it could be that way at the gas pump? Sorry, but you can't do that there. But you can do it for your home with Planet Solar, and it all began for them right here in Central California. One of the things I really liked about these guys is their financing. Don't let the rate hike scare you away from going with Planet Solar. And they are really quick and good and efficient on installation, and they have become masters at putting together a complete solar package with a solar battery. So you've got the juice when PG&E says, no, you don't need it because we're trying to conserve to save the world. Click planetsolar.com. Do that. Call them at 228-9245.
Looking for a new dining and beverage experience? Come check out Genesis Bistro at the northeast corner of Cedar and Nice in Fresno, where the chef's cuisine along with our mixologist full cocktail and wine bar are getting people talking. Open for lunch and dinner, make your next meal with friends or family at Genesis Bistro, a one-of-a-kind experience. Also a great place to host a special event or celebration meal. To reserve an event, call 559-314-8284. Are you a talented hairstylist looking for a change? Check out 8028 Salon at Cedar and Nice, where we have open stations available and a move-in special. 8028 Salon offers a unique location and atmosphere for you and your clients. Elegantly located next to Genesis Bistro, your clients will have full options to enjoy food and drinks during service. 8028 Salon only has a few open stations left. Give your talents as a stylist the location you deserve at 8028 Salon. Inquire today at the location, northeast corner of Cedar and Nice in Fresno.
Every day, people from all over Central California are discovering unbeatable savings at Own-A-Car Fresno. Most dealers can't match Own-A-Car when it comes to great value. We work hard to get you a car you can afford, whether you're a first-time buyer or have less than perfect credit. Bottom line, Own-A-Car offers some of the easiest financing, low down and monthly payments, a lifetime powertrain warranty, and one of the state's largest selections of popular vehicles. So join thousands of happy customers who've made us one of California's top-rated dealers. 500 down sales event. No score, no more. Own-A-Car.com.
It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. Take advantage of huge discounts throughout the entire store. It's time to reward yourself and save big on all in-stock living room furniture, sectionals and recliners, bedroom sets, mattresses and accessories, casual or elegant dining room sets, patio furniture, and everything else. During Furniture City's President's Day sale, expect no money down, no interest, and no credit checks. It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. That's incredible. That's Furniture City.
CarsForKids.org is the best vehicle donation program taking kids from surviving to thriving. Donating your old vehicle to CarsForKids.org is easy, and pickup is free. Plus, you'll receive a $50 Visa gift card. CarsForKids.org. Right off the car, not the kid.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. 2 for $6. The best deal in fast food. When you want the best deal on the best meal, choose Wendy's 2 for $6. Pick from Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, 10-piece Crispy Nugs, or a medium strawberry lemonade. Pair any two for just $6. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's. 2 for $6.
Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now.
And unfortunately, I'm furious about what's going on, so I can't enjoy the call as much as I would otherwise.
The Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
It's 4:36 on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. Appreciate you guys sticking around this afternoon. Thanks again to Congressman Tom McClintock for giving us so much of his time this afternoon. If you missed any part of that conversation, get the podcast. It's going to be online a little bit later tonight at kmjnow.com. Now, I've got two different directions that I need to go in here. One of them's not good for my blood pressure. The other one's a little peek behind the curtain for you. And so I'm going to start with that because I really enjoyed the talk with Congressman McClintock. I always do. The guy's he's just one of the all-time great interviews. Do you know he was my first interview the very first time I got a zero notice fill-in for Chris Daniel? And he didn't miss a beat. He was fantastic as always. I don't actually remember the conversation firsthand because I was completely flooded with whatever the chemicals are that fill your brain when you are in a blind panic. But apparently it went really well, and that's entirely due to Tom McClintock being just a class act in every way. So before we get to the thing that's probably going to raise your blood pressure, it certainly got mine. Radio's funny. It's a weird business. Once in a while you see things that you just weren't expecting. And no matter how long you do it, you still have moments of, did I just see what I think I saw? I just had one of those moments. I haven't had one in a little while. It's been a minute. And part of that's the pandemic's fault. We used to have artists come in all the time between Y101 and Kiss Country. There was somebody that your kids would recognize from the Grammys or MTV or however it is that people under 50 consume music now in the halls. And sometimes it would be like, oh, hey, I know that person. Or at least, oh, hey, I recognize that person. And then the pandemic came and destroyed everything fun. I'm almost positive I just saw Kirk Cameron going down the hall with the folks from Don Smith's Gospel Favorites, which, by the way, Don Smith's Gospel Favorites is, I believe, headed into its 76th year. 76 years on KMJ. Don's daughter, Earlene, still hosting the program. It's a lot of fun. If you like that kind of music, it's just kind of a neat thing to check in on. I don't know what they're doing this weekend, but there's nobody else in this building that Kirk Cameron would be here to hang out with right now. And I'm not sure it was him, but Josh tells me I'm not crazy because it sure looked, now you're going to change your mind. I say this, and now all of a sudden you don't know. I think Kirk Cameron's running around with the gospel people. I don't know if he's going to be on the show, but you should listen. It's Sunday mornings on KMJ. All right. Nikki Henry from the Fresno Unified School District got back to me. If you missed the first hour of the program today, there was an assault. It wasn't a fight. It was an assault on the Bullard High School campus. A Bullard High School wrestler, a female, beat up another student who I think is part of the cheer squad. It wasn't a fight. It wasn't mutual combat. It was a beating. And I've seen the video, and I'm sorry I had to see that. And this kid, this cheerleader, curled up on the floor, covering her head and her face as best as she can, gets kicked in the head and in the face repeatedly by her assailant. The response from the Fresno Unified School District to call it wanting is far too generous. The response has been completely inadequate. And I sent a list of questions to the principal of Bullard High, where the assault occurred, to the trustee for the Bullard area, where the assault occurred, to the superintendent of the school district, and then, of course, to the chief communications officer, who, as far as I can tell, doesn't answer direct questions and only responds to emails, doesn't pick up the phone when you call. I got the response from the chief communications officer, not the principal, not the superintendent, not the trustee. from the communications officer. It is 3 short paragraphs and a blow-off. And in none of those paragraphs does the chief communications officer, a person who is paid with your taxpayer dollars, she never directly answers any of my questions. Instead, she's given me homework. Homework that she should have done as the chief communications officer for a school district that is, in my opinion, staring down the barrel of serious liability for allowing this kind of violence on their campus. We've got to check in with Christopher Gabriel. He is out at the International Agri Center. The World Ag Expo is underway today and tomorrow. And CG's been talking with some really cool people. So we're going to take a break. Let CG check in to get you guys up to speed on what's happening at the World Ag Expo. And when we return, we're going to get into this response from Nikki Henry, the chief communications officer for the Fresno Unified School District, a woman who is feeding her family with your taxpayer money and who will not answer simple questions about the policies of the school district, even when phrased as generalities rather than the understandably unanswerable specifics about the child who was beaten relentlessly and kicked in the skull and face on a Fresno Unified campus earlier this week. Christopher Gabriel is out at the World Ag Expo. We check in with him now, and we'll get to that Nikki Henry letter next on the afternoon drive on KMJ. Hey, Chris.
Christopher Gabriel, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ at the World Ag Expo. I am in the Ag Center, and I am with the founder of the Ag Center, Doug Bruner. Doug, thank you for making time.
Hey, thank you very much.
So I am fascinated by your background. I have a boatload of notes in front of me. You started your first company, DCB Farming, and what struck me was you talked about trial and error. So as you have progressed to the Ag Center, tell me what you learned in your first company with trial and error and how you implemented those resolutions into this company and what you learned, best practices, and so on.
Well, I think from my first company, which is DCB Farming, it's actually the opposite of the Ag Center. As a farmer, you kind of control who you use and take on, whether what vendor or things like that. You're in the driver's seat. The opposite of what the Ag Center and other companies I've been involved with starting is you are the server to the person using your service, right? And service has always been something that I grew up, our family were dairymen and farming, so I never really understood that side. So it was a big change for myself personally. But once I got into the service business, it seems like every business is really the same as long as you treat business as well as, number one, serve it, people and service. If you can knock people and service out, and when I mean service, it's kind of what it says in the definition. It's, taking care of somebody, right? And I think that's the main origination with the Ag Center is all the amazing companies here start with the people. That's what I've been saying for a long time. It is people driven here, and service comes second. And
I love that so much, and I'll tell you why. With Doug Bruner, he's the founder of the Ag Center. I grew up with a father in a restaurant family, and his life was all about serving people, literally and figuratively. And I know that you have a strong faith, a strong family, and you rely on both. What did you learn from your dad that you carry with you every day with the Ag Center and everything that you've done, Doug?
So, yeah, my dad has been very influential in my life. He grew up very tough, hardworking, and he actually had a service business. He had a construction company before he got into being a dairyman. So he kind of always understood when we were doing business, something I learned at a very young age, or actually when I came out of college kind of a little cocky, thinking, let's get the best price. My dad always said, that man's been doing business with us for a long time, and they've been doing a good job, and respect that. And if somebody didn't do that, that's time when you need to look at a change. That's time when you need to talk to people around and really look at what's the most beneficial for your company. And my dad is number one, taught me hard work, but number one is nothing was in the gray area with him. It was black and white. It was cut to the chase, get it done, handle business correctly, and he was always very fair in everything he did. And it's really helped myself and everything I've done, even though I will tell you with as many things as I've made a lot of mistakes. I'm sure I've made some people unhappy, which upsets me, but you have to deal with that. You have to move on, and you just can't make it a second time. I've always been told, just try not to do it twice.
Well, I'm preaching to the choir saying that kind of culture starts good, better, and different the top down.
Absolutely.
Last thing for you. Where do you see the Ag Center going forward, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, shaping, changing, hopefully exponentially, how ag is done in the Central Valley?
That's a great question. I get asked that all the time. And for the last 4 years, I could not nail it down. Changed every day. And that was the fun of it, because it's something nobody's ever done. And so that's what excites me so much with it and the people that I get to deal with. But as we're moving forward, I really think the future is with the alliances, whether it's Almond Alliance or Pistachio, whatever it is, really helping growers get the best products. Number one, start back. Best people to help them do their jobs, work, best products, services, as well as financial incentives along the way, and as well as sending a message, as Tim Leary from ProScreen and John Paul from the Ag Center just came up with California Ag Cares. I am sick and tired of what a lot of other companies, just the bad-mouthing of what's happened in agriculture. Let's start sending at least some positive messagery. I don't know about people who are listening right now, but waking up in the morning with a positive message versus I'm starting negative, I'm just kind of sick of that. Some people say I'm overly ambitious, overly quiet. I mean, not quiet, definitely not quiet. Overly, positive at times. But you know what? In a service business, you got to be positive because you got to take care of people. And in California Ag, with all the regulations we got with water and environmental and things like that, we all enjoy eating, as you can tell I do, and we got to keep that going.
I love what you're saying. I'll just tell you this, for my radio show, I have a mantra, I had it for 20 years, and what you're saying is discourse, not discord.
Yeah. So, number one, I think what KMJ is doing, you guys are always sending a positive message. You're bringing farmers on. You're doing what needs to be done. And I just hope that people understand the benefits of what you guys are doing, because we turn on our radio every day. It's just like turning on our heater. Sometimes we just take advantage of that. But it's there for a reason. Trying to send the message, just like the Ag Center is. That's why we're teamed up with you guys. We want to keep providing this message to people year-round, moving forward for a generation to come.
Well, we're an expediter for the great work that you and all your folks are doing. I can't thank you enough for taking time. I know how busy you are. Your folks here have been a great host for all of us.
No, they're wonderful, and we're excited. So anybody who wants to come to our booth, we'll be open all day, and we just thank everybody in the ag industry. What a blessing today. Beautiful weather.
Yes.
God's been good with the rain, so we're excited.
Thank you, Doug.
Hey, thank you,
Appreciate
man.
it, man. Doug Bruner, he is the founder of the Ag Center, and my conversation with Doug brought to you by the good folks at Tree Barber, Caddyshack Rodent Services, What's Up, Solar, Central Irrigation, and California Water Alliance. Christopher Gabriel for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ at the World Ag Expo in the Ag Center booth.
We will check in with Christopher Gabriel again at least one more time before we get out of here at 6 p.m. It's the afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic, northbound 99 in Madera County. This is Madera County, northbound 99. Very congested both north and south of Avenue 9 and North Locan and East Herndon, the Black Angus steer. Earlier, a few minutes ago, was running loose on the road, still may be. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Every small business owner knows business happens everywhere. The office, the warehouse, or on the road. And no matter where it takes you, there's one solution to help your business thrive. Comcast Business Complete Connectivity. It's the largest, fastest, reliable network with advanced gig speed Wi-Fi and cyber threat protection in one solution. Get started for just $49.99 a month. Plus, add Comcast Business Mobile and you can save up to 60% a year on your wireless bill. And ask how to get up to a $750 prepaid card.
Flight 291 is now boarding.
Yep, you're going places. And when you get there, be ready to do business. The complete connectivity solution from the company that powers more small businesses than any other provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/21/2023. Restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New 50 megabits per second internet and Comcast Business Security Edge customers only. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Gig internet required for gig Wi-Fi. Mobile Savings compares pricing of top 3 carriers.
Every piece of land has a story, written by those who work it. And everyone's story is different. So the question is, how will you tell yours? Behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor, mower, or Gator utility vehicle. Run with us and start telling your story today.
Stop by one of our Lawrence Tractor locations in Visalia, Tipton, or Hanford, or visit us online at lawrencetractor.com.
Folks, there's a fast break with the game on the line. He dribbles down the court, passes ahead for the alley-oop, and it's caught for a slam dunk.
Do you need an assist? Regain and optimize your sexual performance. See what Pacific Men's Clinic can do to help in the bedroom. Pacific Men's Clinic's safe and pain-free, clinically proven procedure breaks up plaque and stimulates the growth of healthy new blood vessels. Call for your free consultation now at 559-550-6771. That's 559-550-6771.
Mr. World here, working the red carpet at the big awards show. You know, the paparazzi keeps asking me, what are you wearing? Well, I'm wearing the hottest styles from Eyeglass World, of course. Eyeglass World has all the nominees for Best Stylish Frames. Even better, they're the winner for Best Supporting Prices.
Get hundreds of designer frames for hundreds less at Eyeglass World, the world's best way to buy glasses. Visit eyeglassworld.com to schedule your eye exam online.
NEM 3.0 is on the horizon, and change is coming. Call Solar Negotiators today to find out how you can lock in your savings under California's current solar policy. Speak with a consultant today to get pre-qualified for a zero-down, low-interest rate loan and go 18 months with no payments. Go solar with confidence through Solar Negotiators, your lifetime energy partner. To learn more about NEM 3.0 or to get a free quote, visit solarnegotiators.com.
Attention grape and tree fruit growers, packers and shippers. Looking for additional storage capacity in your warehouses? Need more space but do not want to build? Fresno Rack has helped tree nut facilities all over California with racking systems that not only increases storage by over 25%, whether you're looking to increase pallet load storage or super sacks, Fresno Rack has the answer. They can design a system using flow racking, pushback racking, drive-in racking, or selective racking to increase your warehouse storage capacities with in-house sales, design, and installation. You'll be shocked how fast Fresno Rack revamps your warehouse to give you more pallet spaces. Call Fresno Rack at 559-275-7225 or head to FresnoRack.com for a look under cold storage racking and take a look. Fresno Rack would also love for you to visit their showroom too. Fresno Rack is a no-obligation visit to discuss your storage needs and see if their systems would work for your nut warehouses.
Miss one of your favorite KMJ shows? Grab the podcast anytime. Just ask your smart speaker. Get it on Apple, Google, Amazon, Spotify, or go to the podcast page at kmjnow.com.
Rolling up on 5 o'clock on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. It's News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Good chat with Congressman Tom McClintock earlier this hour. If you missed that, we'll have it available in the podcast section at kmjnow.com a little bit later this afternoon. We started the show with the story of a violent assault on the Bullard High School campus and a response from the campus that seems to be more about sheltering the school from criticism than about dealing with what happened to a child. A female wrestler beat a cheerleader in full view of dozens of other students. Part of this taking place physically almost on top of one of those campus hall monitor golf carts. No idea where the campus hall monitor was while this was happening. Another student shot the video. That's been shared to social media. So that's going to be, I think, another wrinkle in this story for this poor kid. And I sent the school district, the superintendent, the trustee, the principal, and of course the chief communications officer for the district who doesn't take phone calls nor answer them, a list of questions. And they were questions that were phrased in a way so as to allow for general answers with the understanding that those general answers could potentially pertain to the story that we are now covering. And I got back a bunch of exclamation points. I got back peppy when I was asking about a student getting kicked in the face. I'm going to skip the first paragraph because it's word salad that basically boils down to the Fresno Unified School District knows full damn well that children beating other children isn't okay. The second paragraph, and I quote, "As you mentioned, we cannot speak to specific students due to privacy laws. However, I can confirm that there was an altercation at Bullard High School between two students before the start of school yesterday. The school responded quickly and handled the incident in accordance with our policies, the law, and the education code. The parents of both students were notified and appropriate discipline has been rendered. Appropriate social and emotional support is being provided, and the school site is continuing to investigate to ensure the root of the problem is addressed to prevent any further altercations between the parties." It wasn't an altercation, Ms. Henry. It was an act of violence, and it was a crime. If I physically altercated with you the way this wrestler physically altercated with this cheerleader, I would be sent to prison, and rightfully so. Now, I know that the school cannot comment on student discipline. You can be damn sure that if the school has done anything short of expelling a student for kicking another student who is defenseless in the fetal position in the skull, I'm not going to let this go. A little bit more from the vapid response from the school district. And we're going to start working on getting law enforcement, legal counsel, and the district attorney's office looped in on this as well, because this answer is crap. Not that I expected better from the Fresno Unified School District.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
Remember the day when you walked into an old-fashioned hardware store, poured yourself a cup of coffee, and they treated you like family?
Hey, Bob. Hey, Warren. I need to get this screen fixed. Well, bring it over here.
That's still what you'll find when you shop Morris Levin & Son, your hometown hardware store. Customer service has been our priority since 1934, with employees like Warren who'll ask the right questions so you get everything you need to finish that job. And Maria, who has greeted customers at the counter for over 25 years. So the next time you need plumbing, electrical, paint supplies, firearms, or anything hardware, head over to Morris Levin & Son in Tulare. It's where service and people are our priority and have been since 1934. Open 7 days a week at 1816 South K Street in Tulare. We look forward to seeing you.
We've got what you need to get the job done. Morris Levin & Son.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 105.9 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 5 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. Thousands expected to attend services for fallen Selma police officer Gonzalo Carrasco Jr. KMJ's Liz Kern has the details.
A public viewing and mass will be held at 6 tonight at St. Joseph's Church.
Then tomorrow morning at 10, funeral services for fallen Selma police officer Gonzalo Carrasco Jr. are being held at Selland Arena in downtown Fresno, with officers expected to come in from all over the state. Then a motorcade will proceed to the Reedley Cemetery around noon. The city of Fresno says several streets will be closed from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. to accommodate the large number of people attending the service. Traffic will be affected, and KMJ will provide traffic updates throughout. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
The 144th Fighter Wing will be taken to the night sky over the next few days for training in Fresno. According to the 144th, flight training will take place out of Fresno Yosemite International through this Friday and next week, Tuesday through Thursday. The 144th says training should be over by 10 p.m., and they plan to observe noise abatement procedures to avoid impacting those in the area at night. Farmers are learning firsthand how high-tech can help ease a labor shortage in the fields. KMJ Ag Director Don York has more from the World Ag Expo in Tulare.
A robotic platform that looks like a small ATV called Burro is making its way around the exhibit space of the World Ag Expo. It's a fully autonomous rig for such crops as table grapes and blueberries as it works side by side with humans. Charlie Anderson, CEO of Burro.
You have a team of 5 to 10 people using an individual burro as a support vehicle for that crew. And they are training the vehicle over relatively short routes by having it follow them.
And can be loaded with fruit and bins. Burro was packed with computer vision to save time and help ease labor concerns.
And we have hundreds and hundreds of systems running in California, Australia, and in South America today. And each iteration has incorporated lessons that have hardened the device to handle the real world.
And you can see demonstrations on how Burro is helping to transform the farming industry. At the World Ag Expo in Tulare, Don York, KMJ News.
The entire Parlare community was heartbroken this Valentine's Day as a couple of hundred people came out to mourn the loss of 13-year-old Fernanda Perez Aldama. At a candlelight vigil, Fernanda was hit and killed walking in a marked crosswalk next to Parlare Junior High School. The 7th grader given medical aid, but because of her injuries, she died on the scene. Students have been having a difficult time with the death. That's why the school district wanted to have the vigil. Many people describe Fernanda as lovely, hardworking, creative, and artistic. Even though many people didn't know Fernanda personally, they wanted to support her family regardless. Parlare police say they'll give out an update on the investigation of the crash later this week. Now, the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
Plenty of sunshine this afternoon with temperatures in the low to mid 50s. We get back to our normal high of 61 tomorrow. Freeze warning continues through tomorrow morning, so expect overnight temperatures to be at or below freezing in most places, likely upper 20s. So cover those outdoor plants and pipes. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And looking at traffic in the western part of Fresno, Highway 180 and North Dickinson. There's been an injury accident. Ambulances are on the scene. Tulare County, Road 132 and Avenue 228, an injury accident. And in Merced County, 6700 block of California Street, a hit and run with no injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 105.9 KMJ.
5:05. It's News Talk 580 105.9 KMJ. Good afternoon. Welcome to hour number 4 of your afternoon drive on a Wednesday. The phones remain 490-5858. Toll free, you can join me at 800-776-5858. On social media, you'll find us at Drive KMJ. And on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch.tv, you can watch us also at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly is... Good Lord. Joshua Weekly is standing by to screen your calls this afternoon. As we return our attention to the letter from the Fresno Unified School District Chief's Communications Officer, a woman named Nikki Henry. She's paid with your taxpayer dollars. Her function, one imagines, is to handle communication for the school district. But often as not, she seems to be the stumbling block between people like me and people like you and actual, meaningful, thoughtful, useful communication. A student at Bullard High School was beaten up by a classmate on campus. The altercation was captured on film. Or on video, I suppose you should say. Nobody's cell phone's using film. The child was brought to the nurse's office by a campus aide after the beating occurred, a beating that included being kicked in the head multiple times by a much larger student athlete, while the victim was curled up, covering her face and head, trying to avoid being more seriously injured. The school contacted the mother, not before the mother was contacted by her oldest child, who had heard of the fight through friends. Mom arrived at the nurse's office, saw how her child was injured, and was approached by school administration. Obviously, the kid's at home resting, recovering from her injuries. Also trying to process the embarrassment that will inevitably be a component of having a video of another child beating you, now in circulation on social media. The principal of Bullard High School isn't talking to me, and I understand that he cannot legally comment on issues involving specific students. Kids have a right to privacy, and Principal Teresi has to uphold that right. Nevertheless, I put together a list of questions that were general enough that, one, there would be no reason not to answer them. Two, anybody employed by that school district in any position of authority should be able to answer off the top of their head. Now, not only did I send those questions to the principal, I also sent them to the trustee for Bullard, the superintendent of the district, and this communications person, Nikki Henry. And I know the principal saw the questions. I know that Nikki Henry saw the questions. I have received no response whatsoever from Susan Wittrup, the newly elected trustee for the Bullard area. And to my total lack of surprise, the superintendent of the Fresno Unified School District is not responding to me because I'm not calling to give him an attaboy for some accomplishment. A child was assaulted violently. I asked extremely reasonable and incredibly general questions. Does Fresno Unified or Bullard High have a policy for involving law enforcement when an assault is committed on campus? Does that policy have exceptions for student athletes? Does that policy have any exceptions for mutual combat? Does Fresno Unified or Bullard High have a policy regarding parent-guardian communication in the event of a fight or an assault? Does that policy include discouraging families from disclosing the facts of a disciplinary or criminal issue involving their child? Does Fresno Unified or Bullard High School have a student-athlete code of conduct? What are the possible consequences of a student assaulting another student? Are there additional potential consequences for student-athletes? If a parent or a student has evidence of a crime, like phone shot video, should they share it with campus administration, district administration, law enforcement, or some other entity? And my last question is, will a Bullard student be disciplined for capturing video or photos of a crime if they're found to have violated the Yonder Pouch policy in order to do so? The 3-paragraph non-answer that I got from the so-called chief communications officer. Now, again, this line of inquiry starts with a teenage girl getting kicked in the head by a fellow student on a high school campus. This communications professional starts her response, "Hi, Philip!" ! Ma'am, if you and I are ever going to be friends, this ain't the time to go for pep. And this is a professional communication. The first paragraph. First, violence at our schools is never okay. We recognize the suffering our students experience when they are involved in a fight at school or even witnessing fights at school. The safety of our students is a top priority for our district, knowing that our students can only learn at their best when they feel safe. We also acknowledge how painful it is as a parent to see a video of your child involved in a fight at school and completely understand doing everything in your power as a parent to keep your child safe from harm. Let's break that down. Violence at our schools is never okay, nor should it be. This might be the last sensible thing to come out of this email. We recognize the suffering our students experience when they're involved in a fight at school or even witnessing fights at school. This wasn't a fight. A big kid kicked a small kid in the head repeatedly. It wasn't a fight. It was assault. That's a crime. Even witnessing fights at school. Yes, seeing somebody get beat up sucks. Not the same thing as getting kicked in the head. The safety of our students is a top priority for our district, knowing that our students can only learn at their best when they feel safe. Great. Then how come you're being a coward and feeding me word salad instead of announcing that the student who violently assaulted another child has been expelled and referred to the police for charges? This isn't an ambiguous thing. There is video. And I'm willing to bet that there's on-campus video that will offer multiple angles and an extended view of the lead up to the moment. We also acknowledge how painful it is as a parent to see a video of your student involved in a fight at school and completely understand doing everything in your power as a parent to keep your child safe from harm. If this is my child and you don't expel the other child immediately, I am going to sue you until your head explodes like the press conference scene in the 1980s horror classic Scanners. What are you talking about? As you mentioned, we cannot speak to specific students due to privacy laws. Yep, I know. That's why I gave you a bunch of questions that were very general in how they were phrased. However, I can confirm there was an altercation at Bullard High School between two students before the start of school yesterday. The campus was full of kids. It happened on your watch. Stop splitting hairs. And I don't need you to confirm it. I've got the video. The school responded quickly and handled the incident in accordance with our policies, the law, and the education code. Did the child who violently assaulted the other child get placed under arrest? Did the video of the criminal assault get turned over to law enforcement? Screw your policies. How about basic human decency and the penal code? Parents of both parties were notified and appropriate discipline has been rendered. If you didn't kick the violent child out of school, you didn't do the right thing. Don't tell me the kid's name. Don't announce the child's name to the public. Tell the public that you have sent the violent child off of campus permanently. Because you've got how many other parents that want to know that their kid can go to school without getting kicked in the skull? Appropriate social and emotional support is being provided, and the school site is continuing to investigate to ensure the root of the problem is addressed to prevent any further altercation between the parties. There wasn't an altercation, there was an assault. The root of the problem, great, investigate it. Here's how you ensure there's not another incident. Throw out the kid that kicked the other kid in the head. And as far as you providing appropriate social and emotional support, you're a damn liar. You haven't seen the victim. You haven't talked to the victim since her mother picked her up. You haven't provided a damn thing for the victim but lies and nonsense. In general, parents are contacted by their school's principal or vice principal after a fight to provide support, check on involved students, and work through any questions and support needed by the families. I don't need your support. The parents of this child don't need your support. You failed. The part that you were supposed to support was a safe campus. But since you don't discipline problem students, since you spend all of your time just babbling double talk and nonsense, instead of doing what should be done to ensure that these kids get their needs met. Of course, the principal or the vice principal picked up the phone. Mom went on Facebook and started talking about her child being assaulted. So the principal or the vice principal who reached out to provide support told the mom that she shouldn't be talking about this on social media. It makes the school look bad. This happens whether or not a parent has gone to social media or local outlets. Yeah, it should have happened before the parent had to do that. It's not uncommon for leaders to advise a parent to refrain from using social media to share details of these fights, as it may spread quickly, inciting retaliation or further conflict between the parties. Yeah, the little dirtbag that's shooting the video going, yeah, get her. He already did that. Now you've got a parent doing damage control because you don't have control over your campus. Go get the video of the assault, give it to the police. And while you're at it, hand over the name of the student shooting the video that went onto social media. I know you can't give it to me. You can give it to the parents or the attorney of the victim. As far as further conflict between the parties, there's no further conflict if you throw out the kid that kicked the other kid in the head repeatedly. I want it to be clear that we would never discourage a parent or family from involving law enforcement should they feel a crime has been committed. Well, gosh, that's a good thing. I'd hate to think that Fresno Unified, along with being a bunch of incompetent, feckless boobs, were also trying to infringe on a parent or a child's civil rights. As far as policies go, I direct you to the 5000 series of our board policies here. She links to the board policies. To education code regarding discipline and expulsions, another link. And I've attached our student athlete code of conduct. I've got all that stuff, babe. I'm a Fresno Unified parent. I got it all. I didn't ask you those questions so you could send me 10,000 pages of gobbledygook. I wanted plain English answers to relevant questions about a problem on your campus. And it took you an entire workday to serve a word salad and blow off an opportunity to communicate intelligently and effectively about a situation on your campus that is not acceptable. This is what Fresno Unified has turned into, my friends. This is what's happening. You want to know how it is that the Fresno Unified School District has 11,000 employees, 70,000 students, is the third largest district inside the world's fourth largest economy, and yet can't get an entire graduating class to read or write or do basic math. It's because people like this continue to be employed, and because the school district is more concerned with covering its butt than protecting its students. It's disgusting. It's shameful. And it's not the only school where this is happening. At the board meeting last Wednesday, parents from Wawona were weeping in the board meeting after being made to wait hours and hours for their public comment time, begging the school board to do something about what's happening on the middle school campus, one of which feeds Bullard. And this is the response from this school district. It's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. This is Fresno Unified in 2023.
And traffic, I have a couple of Tulare County incidents. Avenue 8 at Ridgecrest, a collision with no injuries. In the Porterville area, Road 232, Avenue 80, there's a traffic hazard of some sort. And in western Fresno, 180 at North Dickinson, there was an injury accident about 30 minutes ago, and now there are emergency vehicles on scene. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Andros Engineering. See the most innovative irrigation equipment at booth N46 at the World Ag Expo.
For more than 35 years, Andros Engineering has been providing farmers with the most advanced equipment to install, extract, and retrieve drip irrigation. But did you know that Andros has also been a resource for farmers to develop specialized equipment, mechanizing difficult and labor-intensive field practices? Or that the Andros Recycling Program has revolutionized how drip tape is retrieved and recycled, helping farmers be more efficient and better manage drip tape materials. Take a look at Andros to see how our equipment, engineering, and programs can be a resource for your farm. Contact Miguel or Brian to learn more about the Andros Drip Irrigation Equipment, Recycling Program, or Research and Development Services at 805-227-2801 or visit andros-eng.com. Andros Engineering. Install, retrieve, reuse, and recycle more efficiently.
For a better you, listen to me. Me happens to be Ray Appleton, and you know who you are. With a whole house LifeSource water system, let's talk about a better, healthier you. You know, our bodies are up to like 70% water. So clean and healthy water is essential for your bod to function. That being said, unfiltered chlorinated water just doesn't cut it. No, you want softer skin. You want healthier hair. You don't want any more chlorine in your showers or baths. Yuck. And what you consume? Clean and delicious. And with a LifeSource water system where you will taste and feel the difference, there's no maintenance. There's no monthly servicing. No filters. You want a better you? LifeSource water. That's what it's all about. Call 559-330-1850 or click lifesourcewater.com. One more time, 559-330-1850. LifeSource. Hey, you're going to taste and feel the difference. Believe it. You know who else is going to love it? Your pets. Your pets will love LifeSource. Really.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smart home. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 800-730-8405 to learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. And the best part? Call 800-730-8405 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 800-730-8405 today. That's 800-730-8405 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
You know, for a number of years, I've been telling you about the Zuber team, and now that I've sold my home to them in one of their programs called the Instant Cash Offer, I really get it because I've been Zubered by Darren and Daryl, the Zuber team with Real Broker. You want to be Zubered? They will help with repairs. You can't afford to get that, air conditioning fixed, maybe a little paint, need some new carpet. They'll do that for you and settle up at the end when you have cash in hand. I can tell you they're the number one team in the Fresno-Clovis area since 2011. I can tell you they've sold close to 7,000 homes since 1971. I can tell you about the thousands they spend in marketing your home. But now that I've worked with them, I can tell you it all works for real. I can't do a bigger endorsement than that. 2 words. I'm happy. Google Zuber Team. Or click Zuberteam.com, Zuber. Any interest in joining the Zuber team? Then do what I just told you.
License number 1213700.
Farmers work hard to make a living. Quality ag equipment should work for you and save you time and money. Stop out at the World Ag Expo and see the Peckway Orchard and Vineyard Spreaders. The best spreaders for any application, big or small. Our products are made by listening to you, the farmer. The Peckway Vineyard and Orchard Spreaders have a unique multi-attachment system that can handle any type of material, from conveying to spinner broadcasting to banding and all applications in between. The SF5 is our precision granular fertilizer spreader with a patented breakaway conveyor system. This protects your equipment while maintaining spreading precision from light to heavy applications. The right agricultural equipment can make a world of difference on the farm. Peckway will have a full display of products you can trust at the World Ag Expo. Stop on by and see for yourself. Peckway, The best vineyard and orchard spreaders, period. Visit us in the North exhibits at booth N36. That's booth N36. See you there.
It's 525 at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Glad you guys are here. If there's anything that I cannot stand, it's a bully. And maybe the only thing that makes me angrier than a bully is a coward who allows a bully to keep doing what they do. And it's just you know, I'm not an academic, you guys. Earlier we were talking about this. I'm a Gateway kid, and I barely skated out of there, and I joke about it. Sometimes I treat it like a badge of honor, and sometimes I treat it like my secret shame. And the truth is, it was what it was. I was going through a lot when I was in high school, and I was oh my God, I was angry. And I didn't belong in high school, not because I was stupid, not because I was smart, but because I just didn't have the bandwidth for other people at that time. And so because I opted out of most of that experience, some of this nonsense passed me by. And what didn't pass me by, for the most part, I treat as a joke. I'm a 43-year-old man. It doesn't matter anymore. And someday, these kids, and whatever it is they're going through, they'll God willing, be able to look back and have the same sort of reaction of, oh, that was mildly embarrassing. Well, glad it's 30 years in the past. But I believe, sincerely, I believe, schools were founded, public schools were created to serve society. They were created to provide business concerns, capitalist concerns, with a work-ready workforce, with people who could read, who could write, who could add, who could talk, who could think at a basic level and could therefore learn the skills necessary to contribute to the economy. And in so many ways, the mission of public schools has been altered, it's been diverted, it's been subverted, it's been perverted. And we hear about everything from social indoctrination in the never-ending vernacular of the culture wars. And we see kids graduating high school who can't count to 10 with their shoes on. And we see thousands and thousands and thousands of kids who get out and they're okay. And we ask ourselves, what is the common denominator for the kids who succeed? And usually the answer is family. It's family, it's structure, it's somebody standing behind them, giving them direction and discipline and support and love and affection and attention and affirmation. But above all, structure. And the school could only ever have been an extension of the structure of society first, because schools were built to serve society. They were not built to serve individual kids. They were not built to serve individual families. They are built to serve society, to turn out a cohort capable of joining the workforce and contributing. And we've lost track of that. And we tell ourselves, oh, well, it's important that they teach kids philosophy and that they teach people morality and that they provide breakfast and vaccines and a safe space. And no, that's not what public school does. That's never what public school was supposed to do. And there is a liberal element that has gone in there who has decided that they will use the public school system to right all wrongs, to correct every injustice. And that's simply not ever going to happen, because the school system was never meant to replace the family. It was meant to prepare the individual to just go to work, to just join society. It was always the family's responsibility to teach morality, to teach decency, to teach kindness, to teach charity and love and temperance and all of those things. School was there to make sure that you could read, that you could write, that you could do math, that you could follow directions, that you could tolerate the tedium of waiting in lines and filling out forms and having orders issued to you by somebody that you might not necessarily like or understand, but nevertheless comprehended that they were the person at the front of the room and therefore the authority in that moment. And schools are degenerating. They're not teaching children to read and write. They're not teaching children basic math. They're not even providing a safe daycare service, which would be the absolute minimum that these schools should be expected, that they would simply be safe, that while you entrusted your child to the state, that your child would be able to exist in that environment without fear of being assaulted or abused. And they're not even doing that. And they're not treating the failure like it's a serious problem. The teachers are. The folks on campus are. The people who interact with your kids, who have been called into that line of work, they get it. But these bloated, self-serving administrations, they don't get it. They don't care. They are there to serve themselves and to serve whatever myopic agenda currently fuels them and the people that donate to their campaigns. What's happening in Fresno Unified is a combination of the decay of the family and a combination of the failure of the voter to take seriously the consequences of electing idiots. I had somebody send me an email just a couple of minutes ago. Popped up on the form over at drivekmj.com. Her name's Lori. She asked the question, where was the school resource officer from the Fresno Police Department? Why weren't they there? Well, there's no earthly way that individual could be everywhere at once. Where were they? Probably somewhere on campus. Were they close enough to see, to hear, to stop this? Obviously not. I don't think it's the SRO's fault that the fight happened, and I don't think it's the SRO's fault that the administration's reaction was to try and shush everybody. But I think at this point it is absolutely the responsibility of our law enforcement community to step in on this, to demand that the evidence be handed over, to take statements from the witnesses, and to begin the process of holding the people who failed this child accountable. Jim, I see you there. We'll get to your call in just a minute. First, an updated headlines with Jim Miller in the KMJ Newsroom.
KMJ News now.
It's 5:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Madera County Board of Supervisors saying no to getting an over $20,000 raise. A unanimous vote to repeal an ordinance to raise their salaries was made yesterday during a special meeting. No discussion was made by the board. Fresno city officials announcing street closures for the memorial service of fallen Selma police officer and young expectant father Gonzalo Carrasco. The closures for the service tomorrow include streets near downtown. Carrasco shot and killed on the line of duty in Selma last month. Hundreds of thousands of fans packed downtown Kansas City for the victory parade honoring the Super Bowl champion Chiefs. Fox's Eric Messersmith has more in this report.
I just want to say we appreciate everybody here today. Arrowhead Stadium's one of a kind, and we just want to say Chiefs Kingdom is one of a kind. So give a round of applause for everybody that's standing here today.
That, of course, was Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs coach Andy Reid also fired up the team's fans.
And no greater place to be than right here, baby. You are the kingdom, and let's give it one for the world. How about those Chiefs?
This was the second championship parade for the Chiefs in 4 years. The team also won the Super Bowl after the 2019 season. I'm Eric Messersmith. Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Plenty of sunshine this afternoon with temperatures in the low to mid 50s. We get back to our normal high of 61 tomorrow. Freeze warning continues through tomorrow morning, so expect overnight temperatures to be at or below freezing in most places, likely upper 20s. So cover those outdoor plants and pipes. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at our Wednesday afternoon traffic in Merced, Southern Pacific Avenue at Commerce Avenue, there's been a collision with no injuries. And in Tulare County, Avenue 8 and Ridgecrest, a collision with, that's Rich Grove. There's been a collision with no injuries. This report is sponsored by Table Mountain Casino. Now in February, you can be making memories in Table Mountain Casino Resort with a chance to win an outdoor picnic set. On Thursdays from 5 a.m. to midnight, earn 900 points playing with your rewards card. If you qualify, you win. Pick up your gift piece from the promotions counter while supplies last. Your next adventure is at Table Mountain Casino Resort. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This is KMJ Ag Director Don York inviting you to join me for this year's World Ag Expo, February 14th through the 16th. The World Ag Expo this year is live with seminars, demonstrations, and more. To visit the show, just go to worldagexpo.com. The KMJ Ag Reports are brought to you by Lawrence Tractor, your John Deere dealer. Peckway is the best orchard and vineyard spreaders for any application, big or small. E.M. Tharp and Golden State Peterbilt, the transportation people.
Join the ag community at World Ag Expo to see the latest in agriculture February 14th through the 16th at the International Agri Center in Tulare. Wear comfortable shoes to see all 2.6 million square feet of exhibit space. Admissions $20 at the gate, or buy tickets now at worldagexpo.com. Use code ULTRA for $3 off each ticket online. For more information, visit worldagexpo.com. That's worldagexpo.com. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra and Bueno Beverage Company.
President's Day at Fashion Furniture. Now, you probably know what that means. Big discounts throughout the store. People have come out of the woodwork for this annual furniture clearance for 63 years. You'll save hundreds on selected items, including the best sellers in Central California. And this weekend, that includes Flex Steel. No question about it. Fresno loves Flex Steel. So what's the big deal this year? Well, how about half price on closeouts? A top grain leather dual reclining love seat with a console that was $29.98, now just $12.97. Hey, wait a minute, hold on. That is more than half off. Now remember, when these closeouts are gone, they're gone. Closeouts are limited to stock on hand. Hurry in, check out the savings. By the way, ask about 0% financing to save you even more. Fashion Furniture on El Paso, across from River Park. Believe me, there's nothing like it in all of California.
Inflation goes up. Do you feel like you need to refinance your car to fill up the gas tank? What if 2 years ago, someone offered to sell you a lifetime supply of gas at $2.75 a gallon, but you told them no? Today, you would be kicking yourself. Right now, Planet Solar has that same offer for you on your electric bill. As inflation goes up, so does your utility bill. Lock in your energy prices today with a new Planet Solar system. Planet Solar is locally owned and operated in Clovis. They're big enough to offer you all the best brands and in-house financing, but small enough to give you the personal service you deserve. Call Planet Solar to find out how to lock in your electricity costs today. You'll be glad you did. Call them at 559-228-9245 or find them on the web at planetsolar.com. That's 228-9245 or planetsolar.com. License number 938313.
Every day, people from all over Central California are discovering unbeatable savings at Own a Car Fresno. Most dealers can't match Own a Car when it comes to great value. We work hard to get you a car you can afford, whether you're a first-time buyer or have less than perfect credit. Bottom line, Own a Car offers some of the easiest financing, low down and monthly payments, a lifetime powertrain warranty, and one of the state's largest selections of popular vehicles. So join thousands of happy customers who've made us one of California's top-rated dealers. 500 down sales events. No score, no more. Own-a-car.com.
Do you remember when coming home from a long trip or day at work was like this? Home! If years later coming home is more like this? Home.
Meh. It's not neglect, it's life, but you deserve to love coming home again. And that is what Bedrosians does. The latest and most popular tile, stone, engineered wood, laminate, quartz, quartzite, marble, and more. Come into Bedrosians and see how easy it is to get started. Love coming home again with a little help from Bedrosians Tile and Stone in Fresno and Visalia.
Samba through big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Teresi.
Streaming live on Alexa, Google Home, and everything else.
Philip Teresi on KMJ.
Roll through the 5 o'clock hour on your afternoon drive. News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Jim, I appreciate you sticking us around so long, man. Welcome to KMJ.
Hey, Philip. You know, your last comment, you hit it all on the head, and that's what I was going to say, is apparently that's what the people of Fresno in these school district areas want, because they vote these idiots in. Terry Sladek was was a breath of fresh air on the board, and he's not there anymore because these people can't handle the truth. It's pathetic, and there's no answer to it except to vote these people out and get some sanity back in.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll ever happen. And one thing I wanted to not ask you, but say, you made the comment that you grew out of not that you were bullied, but that you grew out of being the attitude you had in high school. And these bullies, some of them grow out of it.
Yeah.
But my question is, because my brother was bullied, he's my older brother, but he was bullied in school. Do the victims ever get better? Because I know my brother doesn't laugh about it, but we talk about stuff, and he goes, that grammar school was the worst time of his life. And he's 65 years old now. So do the victims ever come out of it? And a lot of times, no.
Well, Jim, I think that you raise an interesting point, and an important point when we're talking about what's going on with this kid at Bullard. Your brother's 65 years old. He still thinks of grammar school as the worst time of his life. That speaks of a deep scar, and that sucks, and I'm sorry that happened to him. I don't think I got bullied because I was always big, and because I'm this won't be any surprise, Jim. I was kind of loud, and so I think that I was generally more trouble than I was worth. I also had a temper, and so the few times that I got pushed or provoked, we punched each other in the nose, and that was that. I mean, the furthest that it ever went for me in terms of like an on-campus altercation was a kid named Mike Deek. He was the only sixth grader in Cupertino who was slicking his hair back like Gavin Newsom. And he had a mouth, and he thought he was hot stuff, and he was trying to get pushy with me, and I lost my temper, and I knocked him down, and I smacked him around, and I ended up getting suspended for 3 days and admonished and threatened with arrest and all that. And we were in sixth grade. I mean, we were kids. And that was that. And he stopped bugging me, and I never touched him again. I don't think that we ever talked to each other again. I don't think that he's carrying that around for the rest of his life. I remember it because it's one of the few times that I ever initiated a physical altercation. But it's not something that I don't have an emotional reaction to it. I'm not hurt. I didn't kick him in the head. He didn't kick me in the head. If my teachers had seen somebody kicking somebody in the head, oh my God in heaven. And once we got up to high school, no, it never would have been allowed. If Willie Thomas or Ed Schmazel had seen a student kicking another student in the face on campus, they would have dragged him off before campus cops got there. And they damn well should have. No, what happened at Bullard High School is the result of an erosion. It didn't happen overnight, and it's not just one student. There's been this erosion. There's been this erosion in the family. There's been this erosion on campus. We've got this board of trustees. The next thing I'm working on is Spanish-speaking families not being able to get responses from district administration, like in the case of the Computech busing story, in a district that's 68% Hispanic. The Fresno Unified School District is failing. It is failing our children. It is failing our taxpayers. It is failing. And to correct that, I happen to agree with you. I think putting Terry Sladek back on the Board of Trustees would be job number one. I'm hoping that Susan Wittrup, his successor, will respond to my invitation to talk. I want to know what the play is here. I want to know what the next move is. Jim, I appreciate the call, man. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. We'll check in with Christopher Gabriel one more time out at the World Ag Expo. That's coming up in a minute on KMJ.
And taking a last look at traffic on this Wednesday afternoon. In Fresno, northbound 99 at Fresno Street, there's been a collision, no injuries involved there. And in Merced, Southern Pacific Avenue and Commercial Street, there was a collision with no injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCarran.
We are in the Ag Center booth at the World Ag Expo. Christopher Gabriel from News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. I am with Mike Alamari from Pacific Farm Management, the president of Pacific Farm Management. Good to see you, my man.
Hey, how we doing?
We are doing well. For those who aren't familiar with your company, tell us about Pacific Farm Management.
Yeah, Pacific Farm Management, we're based out of Madera, but we work from the desert all the way up to Oregon. We provide labor and personnel management to farms and ag-related industries, so packing sheds, irrigation companies, aside from the traditional farms and ranches. We cover row crops as well as tree crops and vineyards, so we cover a wide array of different crops that we provide labor for.
Mike, one of the things that I've been asking folks that we've had the pleasure of talking to is how an event like the World Ag Expo affects your company and what you hope to get out of this. So what are you looking to get out of the World Ag Expo?
Yeah, just better exposure and networking. I mean, dealing with labor, especially in California, has its challenges. Most people want to operate a business, don't like the burdensome of dealing with labor, HR, payroll, and stuff like that. That's where our company comes in and provides a solution for them. So we kind of eliminate that headache, get it off their table so they can focus their time and resources on running their business while we do the labor side of it.
Recently on my weekend show, I had Mike Sherinian, owner of the Elbow Room, on, and we were talking about the possibility of taxing tips and how that's going to affect the labor force in the restaurant industry. There are overtime laws in effect now that affect the farm industry. Explain that to us, and what effect have you seen relative to your company?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a world of changes in the ag employment landscape. Just 5-6 years ago, employees were able to work 10 hours a day, 60 hours a week. Now, as of 2022 and now 2023 as well, they're treated like every other industry where after 8 hours and 40 hours, they earn overtime. So what does that do for us? It makes us operate extremely efficient. We want to ensure that our clients are happy with the service we're providing them and that they're able to conduct the labor in probably a shorter amount of time period, or not to pay overtime, because obviously it's real costly to pay overtime. I mean, there's some crops where 30% of the final cost is labor, and then you have some crops like stone fruit where about 80% of the final cost for the farmer is labor. So obviously if you have to pay 50% more in overtime wages, that's going to affect your bottom line. And that's where we come in, try to strategize, find a solution for them to ensure they get through the season with enough labor at a decent price.
You explained that much better than I could have ever figured that out. Last thing for you, having a chance to talk to a lot of business owners in the Central Valley, we've talked about the post-COVID world. We're still dealing with COVID, but not as bad as 2020. Now that things are back to normal, or whatever this new normal is, Mike, and you see people here and nobody's got masks on, how has all of that affected your business?
It's made us become more on top of it, especially with our safety team. We have a full COVID program for the employees. If they get sick, we're always up to date on the new laws that are affecting them and from every which way. It's actually gave us an uptick in business because it added another layer to people's employment applications or the way they have to operate with their employees. So again, that took time away from them from operating their business, and it created someone like us to be specialized in it to take that burden off their hands. So we've seen an uptick in business just to handle that aspect of it.
Mike, I appreciate your time today.
No problem. Thank you.
Mike is the president of Pacific Farm Management, and my conversation with Mike, sponsored by Kane Trucking, FarmCom Real Estate, Anthony's Land Leveling, Cultivated Technology Group, and Custom Ag Formulators. For News Talk 580, 105.9, I'm Christopher Gabriel at the World Ag Expo.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Well, a big deal at the 63rd Annual Fashion Furniture President's Day clearance is savings. 100 recliners in every style and cover imaginable, and power lift recliners, hey, those are hot as a pistol, leather sectionals, Amish furniture, and a colossal selection of closeouts up to half off. We're now including a very special top grain dual leather power lift recliner with a console that was $29.98, now just $12.97, even more than half off. But that's how we do President's Day at Fashion Furniture. All kinds of discounts. Look at this. Home office furniture, dining and bedroom, handcrafted Amish furniture, accessories, one-of-a-kind items. And don't forget 48 mattresses on display at Sleep Retreat, Fresno's only all-premium mattress store with Tempur-Pedic, Beautyrest, Serta, Stearns & Foster, and more. The 63rd Annual President's Day clearance. Fashion Furniture on El Paso across from River Park. There's nothing like it in all of California.
Come on.
Hey there, Charlie. You look down. What's up?
That steam cleaner's busted. Again.
Jeez, I don't know what you plan to do, but you need to get it fixed right this time.
Thought we were getting it fixed right the last time.
Well, have you tried calling A&E?
Well, I didn't buy it from A&E.
Doesn't matter. A&E can get it fixed, no matter where you got it. From what I heard, they're the best.
Oh, good to know.
Hey, call A&E. They'll get out here and get us back up and running right away. And maybe it's time to get a new steam cleaner. Go by there and get a look at their selection.
A&E Pressure Washers on the 99 between North and Cedar, just south of Kuchenbecker Tractor. Look for the big blue sign. For water recycling systems, steam cleaners, and of course, pressure washers, give A&E a call at 275-3891 or visit aefresno.com. And for your service needs, no matter where you bought it, call A&E at 275-3891. 275-3891.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
O'Reilly Auto Parts provides more than just the right parts for your repair. Our professional parts people can also offer free check engine light diagnosis. We can scan your vehicle and provide a list of possible fixes. Find the right parts for you or recommend a great local repair shop. Don't ignore your check engine light. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. Take advantage of huge discounts throughout the entire store. It's time to reward yourself and save big on all in-stock living room furniture, sectionals and recliners, bedroom sets, mattresses and accessories, casual or elegant dining room sets, patio furniture, and everything else. During Furniture City's President's Day sale, expect no money down, no interest, and no credit checks. It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. That's incredible. That's Furniture City.
Hi, I'm Selena Janae, Events Manager for the Fresno Chamber of Commerce. Please join me in celebrating the 2023 Valley Business Awards presented by Central Valley Community Bank on Wednesday, February 22nd at the historic Warner's Theater. We are thrilled to honor Sally Caglia as the 2023 Leon S. Peters Award recipient. Also being recognized, Jeffrey Scott Agency, Fresno Street Eats, Clark Bros Inc., and Lavrall LLC. Tickets are on sale now at FresnoChamber.com. That's FresnoChamber.com.
Everything that happens in Fresno's got to run the gauntlet of KMJ. It is such a blessing for you all to have what you have. It's been 100 years of communicating with your community. There's nothing like that for 1,000 miles.
So ends our broadcast day.
Rolling up on 6 o'clock. It's News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. The great one, Mark Levin, is on the way here just a couple of minutes from now. I want to thank you guys for a lot of thoughtful phone calls today. A serious conversation about a serious problem that should be getting handled by the people that we as taxpayers pay to handle the problem, and that we as parents and families in the community have absolutely every reason to expect would be handled by the people who have the apparently gall to call themselves professional educators. This is absolutely not the end of this story. I'm going to be following up, continuing to ask Trustee Wittrup to talk with me. In her place, I may invite former trustee Terry Sladek to come in to help me understand what the problem is at Bullard High School and apparently across Fresno Unified School District. And I'm also going to be talking with law enforcement, the district attorney's office, to find out what the process is for a family who wants to press charges under these circumstances. But for now, I am going to get out of the way. Mark Levin is on the way. Before that, we'll hear from the folks in the Fox newsroom as well as our friends at the Valley's Legends and Legacies. Thanks to Josh Weekly for keeping the wheels on. I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock on KMJ.
The Valley's Legends and Legacies are brought to you